for the S&P. It is the S&P, which is a bit of a change from last week, if you remember, leading us back to the downside right now. A couple of things to note right now. I want to show you a few charts here to start things off this afternoon. On the left is the 10-year Treasury right now. This is 3.9 coming into play right now on the 10-year. This is the 2-year then. We're all the way to 4.35 at the highs there for the 2-year. That's nothing but go straight up all day long. And then finally, this is the US dollar, topped at above 114.5, multi-year highs, multi-decade highs, and also pushing all of the other currencies back to the downside. It's been one of those days. Unbelievable moves in the currency markets today, with some of the moves we're seeing right across the board in the US dollar, affecting that to the downside. Here comes the S&P 500 for you. Once this screen loads, we'll show you. It is, as I said, the S&P to the downside right now, leading the way. Not going to load, of course, for this afternoon, but trust me when I say pretty red board outside of some of the consumer discretionary names. If you were with us in the pre-market, we discussed the casinos back to the upside today. On the note about Macau, and they're going to be able to start reintroducing some of the tours from mainland China over to the casinos in Macau, which has been an absolute huge move, or caused an absolute huge move. Here is the S&P 500 as promised, 1.05 to the downside currently. Basically at session lows, as I was saying. Win and LVS, the only two here still jumping off the board. 13% for Win, 12.25%, we'll call it, for LVS. MGM has fallen off, but it was also up about 4% at one point this morning. I don't see it on here right now at all. Anyways, utility stocks also under decent pressure here. AES 5% lower, FE on here 4+. Real estate stocks, banks leading right now, and they have been for most of the day. The individual banks here, the entire group, not a single name in positive territory. Same story for the insurance names, diversified financials. They're all getting hit this afternoon. Nothing really of note outside of some of the retail names in the food space. Costco 2.4% higher. Some of the retail names, as I mentioned, higher on the day as well up here. Amazon, to mention a few, 1.5%, but nothing really of note as far as positivity to mention right now for the entire market outside of those casinos. Hope your day is going well as we head back to session lows here. What a start to a brand new week after we had yet another negative week last week and a pretty ugly Friday afternoon. Let's talk a little bit about what we were discussing in the pre-market, a whole bunch of ideas thrown your way. Make sure you're joining us every single day at 8:30. Neil is going to lead the way this afternoon with a look at one of his trades.
Welcome. Your trade of the day is going to be Tesla, and it's, as always, brought to you by Day Trade the World. Check that QR code below. Get your trading journey started the right way. And I like Tesla. I love trading it, but I got to be honest, this morning it was Li Auto in the news, it was XPeng in the news, and those are the ones that I started off with, and neither one worked out exactly to plan. So when I saw what happened in Tesla, I really only had a couple of levels when I went to my 15-minute, and I was just going back into Friday. You had the high at 284, and then you had this 278 into 274.75 bottom end of the channel. That was it. I didn't have a ton to work with there. It wasn't necessarily a news catalyst. But once we opened up, it was pretty clear what was going on in Tesla. You tested that, you tested the bottom, and then just shot, breaking back out above that 74.75 level. And once you were breaking out, I was looking at it and saying, oh man, this market is strong. I was in a short in Li Auto that almost immediately got taken out. So I was looking at the EV started to go up, and Tesla was certainly leading the way. Now, ideally, when that 78 level approached, I was looking for a clean break. It did not get the break. Wanted it to come back in this channel, consolidate, and then go higher. Instead, it just immediately pressed through the 280 level, and I'm like, just get in, let's go for that breakout trade. I was looking for a tighter consolidation. It didn't happen, but the 80 breakout was pretty clean. I was giving it back in this channel to 79. As you can see, it was kind of holding up there after the whipsaw action. So it went 1-to-1 in the first part of the trade, and then was just looking for the test of 84. Now, I came in looking for short on any kind of resistance. The market has had trouble breaking resistance. In a bear market, you're respecting resistance. So when I looked at that 84 level, that was always something I wanted to look for a reversal. So if I'm in a long position off of it, the first failure up at that price, I slapped a trail on it, and at that point, I'm just thinking short. If you could have broken out 84, sure, there was probably a scalp trade there. We then make the second test of 84. It fails. First consolidation, this is where I want that entry point. Give it to that high of the day. Get in just under that 283 level, and then it starts working back to the downside, that 281. Once we've broken 280, I'm thinking two things. VWAP, 278. Those are the two targets I have. Whenever I'm looking for that strong move to the upside, retracement trade-off resistance at this particular time of day, I tend to want to be getting out at VWAP because oftentimes you will get a little bit of a bounce there. Now, this market has been teaching me something, and that is whenever you have these strong moves to the upside that hit first and major resistance and make a bit of a pullback, well, the dips are a little bit bigger than you're expecting almost every single time. I found myself too often getting out in VWAP saying, okay, well, that's the structure of the trade that's worked for a while on this setup, but then we end up getting more than that after the fact. And you can see you travel well below, right back into that opening range support on Tesla. So the lesson to be learned for me in this particular case was, yes, it was relatively strong, but if you ever find yourself at 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock getting a significant top in this bear market, then you got to hold for a little bit extra here. Expect more out of the trade, even if it's been a strong one. So Tesla at one upside, it was a winner to the downside. I just think we could have had a little bit more had I held through VWAP. You got to be able to switch up in this market, and the weaker the market gets, the more you want to hold on to those shorts when you got it at the top. There's Tesla, your trade of the day, brought to you by Day Trade the World.
Great strength in not only Tesla, but some of the other EVs we'll touch on as well, specifically coming from the Chinese names. We mentioned XPeng this morning on a positive note. There's also Faraday Future, FFIE, on a big move out of the gate this morning as well. That's a watch list, guys. Make sure you grab that every single day. We send it right to your inbox now for free. All you need is your email address. Speaking of some strength, here's Tilray just popping up on a little bit of volume once again. We talked about these briefly this morning, but they all had decent moves out of the gate this morning, get all the way up to almost 3 and then come all the way back. But apparently they're talking about it in the House right now, talking about the prohibition on cannabis. I saw some of the Democrats mentioning that on the floor. So a heads up on some of the cannabis names. Worth a second look here are these charts, I feel, just because of what is happening today. An absolute unbelievable move. Again, this is the 10-year on the left. We're at highs basically right now at 3.90. The 2-year on the right here back to 4.3.5 after making a new high moments ago. So these are daily charts on the 10-year and the 2-year. And then this is the US dollar over here back to basically highs on the day as well, causing just mayhem in some of the currency markets today as well. But interesting afternoon, guys, as equities continue to slide back to low. We'll get into some other things we were discussing in the pre-market if you joined us, including Amazon, because, I mean, it was relatively strong going into the open. It was doing a decent amount of volume on the relative side as well. And then on top of that, they came out over the weekend and said, yep, they're going to do a second Prime Day going into the holiday season. So Amazon was top of the list today.
Yeah, actually, what's up? Yeah, we have Amazon top of the list as well after 114 short. It was the very first trade that we got into. Welcome to the closing show. Thank you for everything and for staying with us here as we had a great afternoon, midday show. Now we're going to take you into the close, so thank you for being here. Look, I'm long right now. Amazon. I mean, Amazon's starting to blast upside. I just went long. You can see I'm in the money now, 18, 19 cents. Starting to go back up to the upside. We just took a long just right now as Neil was doing the trade of the day. We broke through the 200 period, started to move up. I feel like the out was going to be 50 anyways. I actually missed that on the way up, so I feel a little bit bad about the price we have, 64, 65, but I just think Amazon works today. I don't really know why. Like I said, I sort of started the day short, thinking that this was going to be a short for Amazon today, but it's just been getting killed so much. I can't show the daily chart. So much over the last little while, man. We were just at 122, down there 120. Next level was 116, then down here today 112. So it's been a nice little bump upside right now. I don't think you want to flip up to start to go long just yet, but it is strong. And I mean, we're long right now just as a day trade, and we're really starting to get a nice little bump up here. I mean, it's in the money 20 cents, so that's good. But I still feel like we want to fade if we get up here into 117, 117.50. I mean, will the market return to the highs where we were today? That's where Amazon was at 117. So it does have a lot of, movement to go if we get up there. But I just think raising rates, consumers still in trouble. That's not good. Bills are becoming more expensive to pay, so on and so forth. Dollar strength continues, not great for importing. So let's just wait to see what happens here. Amazon continues to be one of those names that's impressive today, up 1.75. I've already taken the profit on this. I'm now trying to hold Google short, but we're talking about Amazon. So let's see how high this one can go. I think another out for me is going to be right around here, man, around 90. We'll take it out for 30 cents and then see if it goes back up through 116. But for right now, I'm also holding the Google short. So I think we're in the middle right now in the NASDAQ.
Yeah, it does feel like we're in that sort of inflection decision point, even if we are closer to the lows and the NASDAQ is going to be down. But I look at Amazon and say, you can't help but like what the stock has done today. Like, there's no question about it. Like, the NASDAQ going to be slightly red, the ES a little bit more so, but Amazon breaking and then holding Friday's resistance as support. The 115 looks pretty solid here today. I think if we were to drop, I'll have to clean my 3-minute up a little bit. That's always on the 15. But I think if we hold that 115 area, it actually looks pretty solid for this relative strength name. I didn't tend to think that all that positively about the extra day for Prime, but whatever. I mean, Amazon wants to go. It did have some strength in terms of the daily chart, and where Amazon, not split adjusted, where it's at least making a higher low. As the market's testing June lows, Amazon's nowhere near them. So there's that little kernel of relative strength as well. If we get back down maybe 80 cents or so, I think defending some Amazon in that 115 range can work if the market still looks as decent as it does right now.
All right, let's talk about some of these casinos, because as we saw on the sector board there, unbelievable how they're still holding up some of the gains that we saw from this morning off the highs, but it's been pretty impressive for Wynn, for LVS. As I mentioned, MGM kind of back to the downside a little bit, but I mean, it's all been about Wynn and LVS today, guys, on this Macau note.
Yeah, Wynn was gorgeous on the breakout trade. If anything, it was just not held on to long enough. And part of the problem was when it did it last time, like it went $1, $1.50 when it broke out at 69 a couple of weeks ago, and that ended up being like the biggest trap of all time. Was sort of, if you grabbed that long, again, it was on positive news, everything opening back up and yada yada yada, and it was a good break. And then once it rejected, you had a head and shoulders, and the next 3 or 4 days you're making those fresh lows. So I was a little bit skeptical that we're going to get back to the high today. So when that 63 half break happened, really getting out 66 and then really looking for shorts at the top, I think was okay. But this needed to get held. I just was not seeing. I mean, it's up 13%, and that's after pulling back a couple of bucks in Wynn's case. I think it was a pretty reasonable thing to thought that there's no chance it should have gotten too far past that 69. And even at this point, yeah, it's up, and I know we're strong, but I just look at us in this channel where it rejected these prices, 67.25, 68.5. That's essentially where you're turning around. It does feel to me that there's some risk that we could have another pullback in Wynn. If you look at the higher time frame, that just feels like we could fill in this gap if the market heads back down in. That 13% might be too much. I don't know that you're in the clear here, just because they're allowing groups back in and whatnot. So the price action in the 3 minutes telling you there's no trade because it's only going sideways. But if it breaks this support, that is a tremendous gap to be filled. And much like the Tesla trade, what I'm learning about this particular market is when you've got something at one of those breakout prices, or if you pick yourself a top, you've got to be willing to give it more room. Because even on this one, when I had it short off 69, it was like, oh, but it's relatively strong, play it into VWAP. It ends up breaking VWAP, it ends up going a little bit further. These shorts at about 10:30, if you get a top at that time, Like, it's gold. And for some of these, you want to hold on. I don't know if we're going to talk about the chips. I guess we will get to in a second. But for some of them, you want to wait until 10 to 10:30 to get into your short. And that's what I've been learning. It's just getting in short on something that's going up in the first 5 minutes has just not been a good strategy overall. But when you get that top at 10, 10:30, they're gold, generally speaking.
Oh man, yeah. Look, wins on the sticky note has a long, and Neil just broke out some levels. I don't have it. We were waiting for a little bit of a lower low, but it just kept on dipping and ripping, and no dips at all for that. Just rip. Okay, so just an update right here. Amazon did go down to 60 there. So the thing is that I'm also holding, what are we talking about next? Okay, we still have Amazon coming and Apple coming up soon. Apple was my biggest trade, so we can go on that in a minute. But right now, I just want to let you know, I did get another piece out on Amazon there. It's only for 10 cents. I'm still waiting for the highs there. But here's my Google trade. We're short Google right now. We've been talking about that for a bit on the midday show. So we just got a piece out there at the 50 period. We're only short 32. I mean, we just got a piece out at 25, waiting for a lot lower moves here on Google to come in, especially if this market does fail. So that's why you're going to see me be a little more sort of wishy-washy on Amazon. I have more shares on Google and like this one, but we're going to get out anyways if it takes out 50, some levels around there. So we're going to watch out for Google just to see about the market dropping off. But I'm excited for this next one. It's Apple, baby.
The big one today, a nice look for Apple. You heard Trader Pat mentioning it just before the end of the midday show there as well. 150 coming back into play here for Apple. Comes down and holds it to the number, essentially, on that last little dip. We're right back up through 151, guys. Wasn't much as far as news when it comes to Apple today. They just confirmed what everyone knew anyways, that they were going to move even more of their iPhone 14 production away from China and towards India going forward as they ramp that up.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I've been looking at Apple for a while. It led the market a couple times last week. It was stronger than the market and then failed, and now you're weak, right? So I said I didn't want to go too long against Apple until we found some bottoms. And I mean, that's basically what we did here in the pre-market. I don't know if it was the pre-market or not. When did we start getting long in Apple? Yeah, it was roughly there. Once we were back down to that 150, we started defending that 150. We had these bottoms here of 149.30, so that was giving me some sort of a shelf a little bit. Like if it broke that, then I wasn't so scared about these longs. But this really took off, man, off the open. It just kept going up, up, up and away. We actually have a 151 fill as well to the long side. Like I said, this is going to be the number one name. Just blast it up. My best out, unfortunately, is right here, 152.90 when that broke back down, which should have been triggered to the short side again. But we got as high as 153.75 today. Like I said, we don't have that high print there, but you know, we could have. We thought it was still going to go further. I still think Apple does have a lot of room to go here, especially with the NASDAQ trying to hold those bottoms and now trying to get back to green there. The bottom is about 11,100 on the NASDAQ. You're now at 11,340. You know, if Apple doesn't want to go down past that 150 mark, then that's going to be a good little base for the NASDAQ. Missed that, was looking at Amazon. Obviously, we just took a 20-cent win on that Amazon trade as well, by the way. We just got ticked right there, 88 out. So there it is right there, another one for Amazon. We'll just keep adding to the stacks here, but Google's getting to the upside now as well. So that's going to try to fail one more time up there. But anyways, yeah, Apple, love that name. We identified it again, another name that's on the sticky note with 151. So if you just took that trade today, then you were awarded a $2.50 win in about 20 minutes. So 151, we had it pegged for Apple. We took it, and the rest is history. And we've been buying 150.50s here and getting some out, 150.90. But the last one was just an in and out there as we failed at 150. So I guess we are 150.50. Let's wait to see if it comes back down, but I still think Apple's a long until you take this 149 out. Then we'll start to reverse to the short. But above 150, I like the long.
Yeah, this stock above 148. I mean, if you look back to where the June lows are and the futures, I think that's going to be, if we test those, we're talking about that 148 level on Apple to be sure. So I think you're going to be looking for longs in front of it. I missed it breaking that or touching that 150 level as well. But much like Tesla, sometimes when it hits an even dollar in the afternoon, and you just want to take a shot at it because it's relatively decent and you have already bounced off that, I'll go for the 151 on Apple just to. Are we going to talk chips? Yeah, well, I guess we'll get to the chips in a second, but I did re-enter Micron It's a new position, and we had Micron earlier higher up, but it's a new position off of some of these lows. We'll get to those in a second, but I'll be on the bid in front of 150. If 150 breaks, fine, I'll get out of it. I just kind of feel like every even dollar is probably worth supporting till 148 breaks on Apple. The market is going to follow Apple's lead here, to be sure. So, if we do break that 150 and you're sitting in other longs, you might want to watch out for them.
Let's just jump down to them, why don't we? Because we've discussed Amazon a couple of times today already. Let's go to Micron, first of all. I mean, the entire group back on watch after being very obviously relatively weak last week. But here we go. Is Micron in focus this morning on this? Susquehanna cutting their price target ahead of Q4 results coming up on Thursday this week, talking about FCF, free cash flow for Micron could be a problem.
Flow. You're supposed to say free cash flow. That's how it goes. But, and this is going to happen over and over again until I stop doing it. My first look when I want to short the chips needs to be Intel, and then in this particular case, Micron, and not necessarily NVIDIA. Because NVIDIA, every time I go to that stock, it's like it goes to the upside. I'm fading a move up. I need to wait until 10:30 for that to settle down. Whereas I find, like in the Microns of the world, at least you know where you're wrong. And I was determined after gapping down below, and it's about 50-60 is the level. You can sort of see on the daily here. I'll pull it back. When you had the June lows, you hit 50-60 right around here, and then you gap down below that just last week. And that was the level. Once it broke it, it ran. Once we got back below it, its resistance, it popped up, rejected just shy of that level. So here you have Micron respecting those tops when NVIDIA was breaking them, as a matter of fact. And I'm back into this off of these lows, just looking at what the market is doing. Like, we had just gotten back red in the NASDAQ and are holding the bottom end of the channel, and we've seen these sideways afternoons. So if we're going to be in the bottom end of the channel in the NASDAQ, well, then give me a weak name, and I want to play the bottom end of its channel. So it's been about 49 and change into about a 48.85 bottom. For Micron, and I'll sort of sit in and work some of the shorts on pops, take some out on the low of the day. If it breaks the low, we have room to Friday's lows, to be sure, on Micron. Down 2% into a market into a NASDAQ that's flat. I mean, that tells a bit of the story here. So always stick with the relative weakness. It's easy to say, but understand, I love NVIDIA because of how much it moves. That doesn't always mean it's the best way to express the trade in the semis.
No, I always stick with the same one, pretty much AMD. We've been absolutely doing really well on AMD, needless to say. And today we have that great short there at 69. Again, it's listed on the sticky note, wait for 69 short. We have that level there. And then it just, whatever, we have it, we don't have it right now. And there's our best out there, 67.82. So we'll drop down some cash for AMD today. It was obviously a great trade coming in, because there's the short there, 69. There's the out, 67 at that 67.70. At that time, that was the low, but we've broken pretty scarily here to the downside, taking down 52-week lows again. I wrote down here, 66.80 was the 52-week low. Look where we're at right now, 66.80. Obviously, we've taken that down again. I think a 67 break long, and I'm interested in AMD. So if AMD does break long through 67, you'll see me jump right into that trade. So, it might even be 66.90 right there. Wait, where this? Now, this is the last time I looked at it, but now you've come down there. There's that 90 right there, taking it out. I'd like to see us get a little bit higher, and then there's 67.02 right there. So I think a 66.90 or so break gets us, but I'd rather have a 67 break to the upside than use some of these as our low if we're wrong. So if AMD wants to get going, although I think it's a short right now against, you could go short against that level as well. I'm short Google right now. Could add to it with AMD. This has just been falling down. It's been a complete disaster for the last couple days, and now you're at the 52-week low again for AMD. This was $100. I'm very, very comfortable trading these names. I've been doing it forever. So let's just continue to watch out for AMD. I still like the long better than the short. So breaking above 66 right now is what I like. I'm just really hoping that Google can. So I'm almost out of Amazon. So now I'm cheering for the market to tank. We did get a great fill up there at 88. Now we only have 20% left. So if we take down 50, we can get out of Amazon for sure with almost literally no damage done. And then hopefully this Google will come back in. Our last fill was right there. Let's hope for a little bit more to the short side here on Google. But AMD, I like the break through 67. Other than that, I'm going to stay away.
All right, let's go to EV land because they've been pretty impressive so far today. Here's XPeng trying to get back to day highs currently. It's done nothing but grind along this 1420, 1425 area all throughout the midday, but nice move here. Back towards 15. Again, the CEO, chairman, if you missed it, picking up a whole bunch more shares because the daily chart looks like this. Down around 1325, I think was one of the prices I saw. But XPeng, guys, there's Tesla we heard with Neil off the top there, but pretty impressive once again for EVs.
Yeah, and look, I mean, whether he's buying it because he believes in the company, because he's getting a fantastic price relative to where it was before, it had a positive catalyst. The breakout was only okay. I thought I was in probably too early on the break. I was looking at that 1460 area and like the defense of 1390, which we never really saw the dip by. That just didn't come into play. I had the break. It got up, tried to test 1480, slammed back down. I got 1-to-1, and then I got stopped out for the rest of it at 1-to-1. So a bit of a frustrating breakout trade. However, you know, it looks like it wants to hold 14. I mean, this 14 to 1410 area looks absolutely fantastic. My support was probably too low for this stock, and I just got away from it. And now that I look at it, this feels like this should be something on the radar for longs this afternoon. I mean, every single time I come in, all I'm doing is complaining about how the Chinese names, ADRs, don't move in the afternoon. And here you actually have one of them going. So, you know, count me on board here. If we get back to VWAP, I think I want to look down to around that 1445, get some consolidations, assuming the market holds up. Like, this NASDAQ needs to hold its low. Otherwise, I really don't want to be in any of these longs, to be honest with you. But if we're going to be above VWAP and holding the lows, I'll take XPeng to be sure. And then Rivian was the only other one that we definitely wanted. Rivian. It never really set up perfectly for me at the open. However, at about noon, it was pretty clear it was holding the support at 34.20, and the market made a breakdown. So shorted that into 33.50. Tried to short the same level right as we were coming back on. I actually had it as we were doing trade of the day and threw way too tight a stop on it. And now it's rejected VWAP. I think this is valid for the short side of the trade. As long as the market keeps rejecting around here, I think I want to be shorting off of VWAP in Rivian. But XPeng, hey, you know, it's been nice. It's finally nice to see one of these moving in the afternoon. Too many days of Babas and the Neos of the world go sideways and be untradeable in the last couple of hours of the day. XPeng looks like it's going to buck that trend.
All right, finally here coming into a money spot for us on Google right now as that we just got printed again down here for Google. Let's see a break, man. I mean, you know, my next bid is nowhere to be found. I mean, I have one all the way down. That was a 25 bid there. It's not like it's not money at all. I mean, we want this thing to go down. I'm happy because we're playing this range. We were waiting here at 49. It ticked 48 a bunch of times. Now we've switched. It would look much better if we actually got that short. But we did get out of our Amazon as that tipped a little bit lower here. EV strength, look, I mean, I can show you the sticky note again and again and again as many times as really I want, I guess. But, you know, it's not going to do anything. I had NEO listed on there, and we came within cents, man, of getting short. We were waiting to start it at 1850. I wanted to start at 1850, give it to 19. We talked about that. 19 should be the top. Fade any rally. Fade any rally. We talked about that. And then if you look here at the high of the day for NEO this morning, unfortunately, it was 1840. So we just missed starting. And look, it wouldn't have been like if we got 1850s, we wanted to leg into it all the way to the upside. So it wasn't going to come through anyways, but you know, we definitely missed that. I still think there's some pressure up there for NEO up here, 18, 19, right into here. So if it ever gets back up to this side of things, that's definitely where we want to try to go short. I don't know, why did our bear move there? I'm not sure.
I didn't.
But okay, here we go.
There we go.
It's party time right now.
Did you see that?
What?
I picked up the bear, and the market went another leg down.
Yeah, exactly. The bear knows
like if
what's
you
good.
rub its head, the shorts work.
Yep. Don't give away the secrets, but that is correct. And there we go, a nice little downside move right here. So we'll go to nice little chicken dinner winner. Although we talked about that spinach dal that my wife threw down yesterday. Trader Pratt. You know, it's always good when your wife makes Indian food, and then a guy like Pratt, Indian, says it looks amazing and is jealous for it. So shout out to you, my wife. I don't know what's being cooked tonight. Maybe it's a barbecue kind of day. Although I feel like I should know. Shout out to you with the super chat as well, right here. Yeah, I don't know. The kids tonight, She has dance. So yeah, I don't know. What are we looking for? The next level down. The S&P falls here. Yeah, we'll get to that. We will talk more about the broader market in a second. But that's NEO right now. And here comes Google just cracking a little bit lower. I still feel like Google has to get this 97 and change to come into play. But I'll call up the ES for you in a minute. I'm just looking more at the NASDAQ levels rather than the ES. But yeah, you're at that 36. It's about 36. I mean, we could do it right now. I mean, why not?
That low is 36.39, I think, is the June low, something like that.
Well, we were talking about it. I mean, the thing is that do you want the intraday lower, the closing lower?
Yeah, that's
whatever, right? So there's that very bottom there. Thank you for the super chat. It's 36.39-ish, so like what Neil's talking about, but you actually close that day right here. So we're kind of already below that. 36, this is already, if we can close below right now, I believe the lowest close, and I mean, you guys would have this, it's obviously defined somewhere, but 36.74 is the lowest close that I have on here. So, now you're below it. You can see where the NASDAQ is now, 36.65. What's up, Randy? Right there to the downside. So you're going to see that starting to kick in. And then if we do, I don't want to break my computer, which I might do. I have to go back further than a weekly chart to find out some more levels. But this is a weekly chart. So once you fall back down through 3,600, there's still a lot of protection down here at 3,400, right, including where we started before COVID. So you're almost all the way back. Well, pretty much you are all the way back. You're all the way back to pre-COVID levels. Let's just call it that. Whether or not you go to 3,400 or not right now, you're pretty damn close. So these levels are coming into play one more time. So you're going to find names like Square, some of these other names that were beat down and had a huge run up, back down to some of those levels again. So I don't know. I would start to look to pick something up. This is the level I'm calling. I'm calling 34.35. We've been doing that for a while, and I'm calling that, 11.1 on the NASDAQ as the bottom. So I feel like there is still a little bit more pain to go, but you want to start picking some shares up, I would think, anyways, at 34. But how low do you want to go? I mean, that's 2,200. The world was literally shut down there. So I don't, maybe I'm just being a little too optimistic and don't think we'll see 2,200 again. But I think you can safely start to put some money to work if and when the futures get around here 36. I think you could start dollar cost averaging now, but if you have a real position and you want to trade the futures, maybe 34, 3,500, something like that. I
think we get to I have the SPY up just because I don't want to break my chart. But that 32, that 320 level, that double bottom back from late in 2020 on the way back to the upside. That was the last channel before we broke out for good. We broke out for good essentially off of the lows that we're seeing right now. This level that we're seeing, this 360 on the SPY, this is where we broke out for good. And that channel was right here, 320 to 360. So I think if we break down, we're going to the 320 level. I think that today, though, like I was saying with this sort of inside, I'm not saying we're going to get an inside day, but just with us in an inside channel, make sure you pay yourself out. So when Micron rolled over, took some out 49, took some out low of the day, maintained the position. If it pops back up, I'll try to short that pop again. But we've seen this all too often with the majority of the afternoon. You're playing off a support and resistance. So you want to make sure you're paying yourself within that range, Brendan.
A SPAC making a move here, guys. This is IMPX. You can see huge volume coming into this. So today is the last day. This is, again, a SPAC that's merging with Harley-Davidson's E division. So Livewire is the name of Harley-Davidson's E division, if you hadn't heard of that. So tomorrow morning, this will become LVWR. So a heads up on IMPX on the last day here.
That's quite the interesting spike because this was getting shellacked. They'd sold the news on this thing. And then all of a sudden, now it's finally breaking back above that $10. Always just be careful when you get those transitions and the rollover, because I think if it gets up to sometimes you get to 12, 13, wherever the recent resistance is, then you start pulling back in. But maybe above 10, since it made that breakout, that could be worthy of a potential trade and a dip buy. I almost want to go right back to, as the market head down to those lows, we're done the rundown, right?
Oh, yeah, long time.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Just sometimes I'm I haven't seen it in a while. I'm did we talk about the last thing? And I wasn't sure.
It was EVs.
It was EVs, yeah. So the market headed back down to these lows, and the reason I'm now pretty sure Wynn might end up being a nothing burger is Wynn did not do anything. I was kind of thinking to myself, we should be, if the market heads back down the bottom, you should at least be testing something. on Win, and Win has just decided to stay inside of the range. So this might end up being a nothing burger, unfortunately. As much as the casino names have moved, it doesn't mean they have to do anything in the afternoon. I'm not going to be forcing the trade there. But as the market did come back down, about halfway to that 150 on Apple, I'll be on the bid if it does get down there. And then one other name which is moving is Cassava Sciences, up another 11% because that's what Sava does. Remember, it is heavily short. That's a lot of the story here on the daily. Crazy whipsaw action. But it started grinding, trying to put in a lower high here, which would be 50. It's already got one pretty significant wick top through 48 and then failing at 47. I'm going to be looking for some opportunities for a pullback first off of that 48 level, which could be happening almost as we speak off these lower highs.
So I actually really like the long here, to be honest with you. I mean, don't shoot the messenger. We'll see if it comes out. I mean, I say that as the only position I am in is short here for Google. But I kind of like that AMD long. I mean, I'm trying to buy some more 20s here on Google just to get out. We're only short here at 30, so if we could start taking 10 cents on this. And I mean, and look what's happening right now. Like this is pretty much barcoding. I mean, when you're looking at a chart like this and you're doing the job that we're doing, it's you take what you can get and you don't get upset. It's like my kids, man. This is what's for dinner. You're eating it. That's it.
That works?
No, it doesn't work.
Because I was about to say
no,
that.
No. I say that stuff and I act all tough, kind of like I am on the show, but no, not tough at all. Especially if it's the daughter, she gets whatever she wants, anyways. Yeah. So no, I would say. Well, I mean, sometimes look, you never want to put your kid to bed starved. You can't do that. But yeah, you try to get them to eat the right foods. But okay, so Google, come on, eat the short. Let's go. Like if this can get down a little bit lower here and the NASDAQ wants to break, that's completely fine. The one name that I want to talk about though quickly, I'm still short. Look, let's go down. I mean, the only bid I have, I mean, okay, let's just, first of all, I still have 60% of that position. So I'm going to put a bid at 98.11 there for Google. Here it is right here. It's at 15 now. My best out is 14. So if we can get that right there, the reason why I put 11, 10 was the bottom there. So let's see if it takes it. And again, there's the bounce up. So it's so stupid. I feel like ridiculous scalping this thing for 15 cents, but I mean, if that's what's going to give me,
is the range, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to fight the range. So, like I said, you get what you get, and don't get upset. But okay, AMD. Look, this is the one thing that I want to just point out right now. I think it's strong here. It's not going down. So let's put it that way. As the market is, starting to head to the downside, although they do look pretty similar. So maybe I'll take that back. It sort of is just following the market here. I just look at it like the 200 periods right here. Look at this. We've sort of respected it the whole way. We bounced off of it right here. Then when we took it, it hasn't come back since. And here's the move down. You can see the 200 period. All the way. All the way down to where we are right now, and we almost broke it. That's why I liked the 67 long right there, thinking that we were going to break it. That seemed like so long ago now. It's 210 the last time we were up there. Now it's 240. So I don't know. I'm just thinking that if we can break that, that's at 85. And by the way, Google is now breaking lower. So this is what I mean about being very, okay, I'm going to cancel this AMD trade now. You see, this is part of what I do, right? And that is like, I'll hold the short because I like the short. I think the short is the play, but also very aware that, hey, it can go both ways. Now I know, this is where I wish I had the hi-hat there. I like it when it goes both ways on that, but you could see a nice little move there. You can have the long and the short when you're playing in the range, and that's kind of, what I was getting at there is that I'd have AMD to be relatively strong, but now when the market starts to crash down here, and when I mean crash, I mean it's just fall down here to these day lows again. If we do break it, then you could get that move back in, right? We already talked about where the S&P wants to go. It's at 3660 right now. It's handles away from its all-time lowest close since that June bottom. So there are some interesting levels to pay attention to here, and I just don't want to ignore them. So Google down here to 98. Maybe I still have half of the position left, so we could definitely take a piece out. But I don't want anybody to ignore the possibility of some strength coming in, which reminds me, oh, you're already on it. I was going to go right over to that name.
It didn't get there.
But I won't spoil it. But I was going to wait for the same level that you're going to talk about.
Yeah, 150. When the market comes down, I'm like, yeah, we're getting 150s on Apple, right? It's going to happen. We're here. We're ready for it. And then it looks like it wants to bounce at 150.30. But Someone just said in the chat, be patient, like you were talking about being patient, and someone was echoing that in the chat, and I'll stand with it as well. If the market wants to come down, allow it to get to your price, right? If your risk to reward is going to be to the 150 level, then you got to make sure you're taking your position in front of 150 where it makes sense to you. And I'm looking at not to get in until it breaks down below 20s, gets into those teens, and then maybe even beneath those 10s as well. Brendo?
There was a volume spike there both on Twitter and Tesla, guys. On this note, CNBC reporter on Twitter saying that Elon's deposition, apparently not happening today, was scheduled for both today and tomorrow, but apparently did not and will not happen today. So heads up on Twitter.
All right.
I don't know if it's even...
I mean, we haven't looked at that. And you're welcome, Bart, by the way. What's up, Bart? I'll give you a shout out there. You want to shout out me for that? I'll shout out you for that as well. What's up, Bart? I don't know. I have to scroll up there to find your name and I missed it. But yeah, you said thank you for that Apple sell signal this morning. You're welcome, man. I mean, we went hell of a long Apple. So I definitely like that call there. We were really long. Like I said, it's my #1 stock today. It's really what rifled me to my current net. We've made a lot of money since then, but this was the big key. And then as soon as you broke that 50 period, man, I think this is what you're talking about, Bart, you got out, which was, I'm so glad that you did. That's 153. That move went down to 150. So we saved ourselves there $3 for sure on that move down, right? So really, really happy to get you out of that, Bart. And I mean, we went long for reasons. We talked about why we liked that early on. We even compared the market, Apple being positive, to the market being negative. We did that correlation for ourselves early, and we were able to pay off on that. So that was a really great move, and I'm glad for that, Bart. And as you can see right now, the 50 period, not really that big of a deal. So we can watch it. I still think you got to get to that 150 like Neil talked about. I still do like the long, but I like the long in AMD a hell of a lot better. AMD was just down there to 66. I should have taken that long when we were at that bottom of the market, but we didn't do that. So AMD, now I'm gonna have to pay the piper again. If it goes back up to 66.90 or so, our trigger's 85. So that's where we're gonna get in. If it triggers 85, I feel like I gotta sit down against this 66.40 bottom. So any more moves to the downside on AMD, let's buy that. I think that's gonna be worth it. We did get out of this. We'll floss that off a little bit. I don't know, man. I'm going to put a bid. Why not? Shoot, just got out at 15. I was going to do it a little bit lower, but we just pushed enter on that anyways. Kind of forced a habit. I'm happy getting out, but we just took another out for Google. But there's that last bid there, 01. So we actually got an 01 when it came back in, just that same level. So short, 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 and out on Google. Our net's at the highest spot it's been at all day here. Let's see if we can add to that with the AMD long. And then honestly, where's my out for Google? I'm not going to give this all the way back up here. Like, let's just say if it takes down 30, 31, then we'll get out because we'll probably be long on AMD at that point anyways. So 98.31, we're going to get out of Google. Let's see if it gives us and allows us to hold it the whole way. If it doesn't, that's fine. I already have my targets for these other names. So let's see if Google wants to give some more pain here and take down 98. Honestly, looking at this level right now, 97.90 is my next bid for Google. Nothing else until I get punched out at 98.30, which would still be a winner. So either way, we're cashing out on Google today, boys and girls.
There you go. And righty tighty, 28K today, question mark. Not sure what you're referring to, but I don't know.
Dow Jones, I'm
guessing.
guessing.
The Dow to 28?
I'm guessing, because it was 29 this
Okay,
morning.
yeah, because the Dow's at 29. Because the first thing I'm thinking, I'm like, what is that? What's even at that number? Because we never talk about the Dow, quite frankly. So that's what it was. I mean, the Dow, can it get another 100 points? I mean, obviously only short, so that would be, that'd be nice for the shorts because
he wants
it would be fantastic.
28,000.
But 28,000, that's
that's another 1,200.
yeah,
points.
like it's a 12. Yeah, 12.
It's 29,000.
29,000, 28. Yeah, but that's too far. I don't know if we get that far.
I mean,
I just
by
don't
the
think
end of the week is no problem.
Oh yeah, to be
mean,
sure. But like, how many days did it take us when we got 31 to actually finally get that 30 break?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if that can happen as quickly as some people might want. I'm now in Cassava Sciences to the short, the first consolidation, the lower high. I'll give it to that top. I'll get some out at 1-to-1, and the rest out down in front of VWAP. If it does break 47 and makes another run at 50, I'd wait for that run at 50. I just don't want to be buying it up here. We're able to sort of make these ones work when we stick to our plan and don't get too stubborn about it. Apple still holding above 15. 150, I should say. Doesn't quite want to get there. And Micron, I do want to be shorting pops in it. The last one off the low of the day, not quite enough. I think it needs to get back into at least 49 to 49.5, and then coming over. Look, if you look at some of these names that are getting beat down, some acceleration just happened in AMC, and I saw a few people pointing that one out in AMC. I had a short, reversed into a long for a breakout trade. It got to about $8, and I tried reloading it in front of 775, and that was no good. Should have just jumped right back into the short. But they're getting squanched today. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There was the news of the issue up to 420 mil, I think it was. Look, it's down at $7, and there's really no bottom in sight. Like, you've broken down on the daily. There's no point me going far back enough so that you can see some historical levels on AMC. It just feels like this could be headed for $5. It's been a while since it had a good rally on it, like one of those significant squeezes that breaks the backs of shorts. It's like when was the last time it did that? We're talking about back in August, like in the beginning of August, and it's just been in a lot of pain since then. Maybe it has one of those left in it, but it just doesn't look like it at this point in the short term. Brendo.
Sometimes even the weather, guys, can be a reason for stock to rally. Here's Pioneer Power Solutions, which is a utility provider and infrastructure company in the state of Florida. Ian on its way to the state of Florida currently. So they're saying it's going to be a Category 4 before it even gets there. But PPSI up 20% here.
Batten down those hatches, man.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I mean, I like Mother Nature is just one of those. That's someone you don't want to mess with. You know what I'm saying?
Can't win.
That's the one thing there that you can't be prepared as you want to be for that, and then bang, punches you in the face. So I remember when I was without power, just this. I think it must have been this last winter. There we had, or I guess it was the spring. It was 3 or 4 days there, and I think it was maybe only 3 days, and I was like, this is the worst. And then even Puerto Rico, I mean, it's like 51% or something of their, like, it's like a 51% chance you're going to have a power outage in the day or something. I saw some news story there. Puerto Rico is just an absolute disaster there.
You're easy with kids, but like nowadays.
By myself would be fine.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like it's just, but when you have the kids there and then you've got a whole bunch of stuff in your freezer and this and that, it's a nightmare. And more importantly, just stay safe.
Barbecue though. At least
the barbecue.
If there's an upside, it's like it's just a perfect excuse.
It's all good.
It's always barbecue.
And you actually get to socialize with your neighbors a bit more. Like my neighbor, my one guy. I mean, I know him, but he had the generator going. It was like the one guy on the street, like Randy over there, that had like this big, huge generator. So it's like everybody goes over there. I was running the car to charge my phone, and then but now you don't need to do that. Okay, where the hell's my AMD long? Cha-ching, here it is right now. So let's go like that. Let's roll the dice. Uh-oh, sixes. Came out double six, that's okay. Right there for AMD, so right now we are long here. Let's see, like I said, if we could take down 5% for a penny, we'll do that. Or for a penny, for a dime on the upside. There it is right there. Starting to spin it around a little bit already. So let's go up to 94, 95, 96. There's our Google that we could spin the money on that one as well. That one out at 30, which is still a win for us. It looks like we got 29 and change. So I don't know if that actually broke 30. Actually, no, the fill I got flat was 30. That probably sucks. It probably didn't break, but okay, we get that fill up there. Might have been a bad fill. Let's wait to see now what happens with AMD. We have the long. You're starting to break higher. I said we wanted this long, so there it is, in and then out right there at that top. But again, that's literally 5%. We have a hell of a lot more room to go here on AMD. However, I don't want to lose. Like, I hate losing on positions, so I want to be very, very careful with this thing back below 66.70. I know AMD is a shit show. It can get real weak real quick, so AMD down that 1.6 against the market. This is not necessarily the name you want to hold until the cows come home. Let's just hold it in case we do get a little bit of a bump up in the market. I think it has a ways to go to get back to where it needs to go for the day. So, VWAP wouldn't surprise me, 67.40. I think this is well worth the risk, but I'm going to take something out here if we get below 70, guys. Too much risk.
Yeah, and I just got into Rivian. We're looking for that one on a bit of a pop. I'm going to check XPeng in a second, but Rivian on a bit of a pop. Just got halfway to VWAP up there, 34.10, so I did get a first entry in Rivian. XPeng, I said this is going to be the day that one of these Chinese ADRs actually moves in the afternoon, and the market bounced up, and XPeng did absolutely nothing. So we'll see. Maybe it wants to actually dip into VWAP, where I was trying to get this originally. But if the market's going to move up like that, I kind of would have liked to have seen it follow suit a little bit. Sava was just in the pocket, now trying to break higher. This short, I'm giving 247, not 248, not to the high, not to 50, to 47 here, and then want to place, like I said, want to place them out 1-to-1, want to play it out to VWAP. Sticking to that plan is going to be the way to go here. You don't want to get run over by one of these names, to be sure. Apple, I think that 150 is going to have to get put on hold. And now it looks like it wants to make a bit of a breakout style trade. And if Apple tries to, if the market tries to go here, then Apple's probably worthy of going into a higher low and scalping a 150-50 on any kind of a dip because it looks relatively strong. I think there's going to be some juice behind it. Brendan had mentioned Twitter was moving a little bit. I thought he also said Tesla, but I feel like Tesla's still in the pocket. It's not really breaking out. I think it's going to resist this 280. If we get a spike and then the market rejects these highs, and by I mean these highs, I mean these highs in the NASDAQ, then I want to be shorting Tesla in this range.
All I can say is, Jesus, the notorious, just please us. Banger right there, guys. Yeah, good. I think was that what you did? Yeah, that is what you did. Oh, no, you did more money, more problems.
It was Biggie, but it wasn't.
Yeah, good one on that one.
That's good, too.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. But, wow, there we go again, guys. Wow, what a good one.
Oh my God.
With that, look at AMD, man. We just triggered this in a couple seconds ago, and there it is, man. I mean, take as many shares as you guys want. Here's a nice little bust out right now for AMD. So, Advanced Micro, man. Hey, I can't be held down for long, Brendo. What's up?
Right, on Twitter, a number of people now circulating a note suggesting the reason that Elon wasn't deposed is that a deal was reached. So this just happened for Twitter, big pop up to 42, guys. So again, potentially, anyways, nothing confirmed, but a deal could have been reached.
Okay. Bullshit, I call on that one, but we can watch out for that. I mean, it's a nice move up for Twitter. Tesla AMD obviously spiking a little bit back down. We took another out there at 9. Okay, I mean, maybe AMD's not going to come down. I don't know, man. I just... You know, a deal's been reached. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I mean, the Twitter board is turning down a couple what is it, just $1 billion, I think it was, for the breakup fee?
Yeah, just a billion.
So if anything, I would sort of think that would be the best. If that's what the fee is, then why
they gotta get better.
Why wouldn't he just pay that though? Like, to me, all the costs.
They want more.
Who wants more?
Twitter's going to want more.
Yeah, but they don't have a choice, though, right? Because it's a breakup fee. You just break it up.
It's not that simple, though. Like,
yeah,
if the judge could always rule in their favor. That's the thing. And,
right.
And given, like, it's so much upside for Twitter at this point, 25% from here, when really, what would we be trading at? Look what the market's doing. This would be
Twitter
in the 20s.
Up 1%.
We'd be in the 20s.
Like, I'm
skeptical of it because if Tesla popped on that, then I want to short that.
Right.
Shorting Twitter itself is a different story because I feel like if there is a deal and it's like, oh, there's a deal at 47 or 45, just sort of making up numbers there, then your risk on Twitter, if you short it, is nasty. I'm a little bit skeptical of this, and it made me pull my offer when I thought we'd get a turn on Tesla at 280 when I saw Brendan coming with this, but I'm going to go right back to the well. I'll short in front of 280 on Tesla. I don't have any issues doing that. Twitter itself, I don't think I'd want to short it based on that. I'd want to know a little bit more, but you know, if a deal was done, to me, Twitter, there's no chance a deal is right here. I wouldn't have thought so. I would have thought they'd get a little bit better than that, but we'll see. I mean, it's just speculation here. That's the key.
Yeah, I'm leaving it completely alone, and meanwhile, just continuing to just say thank you to AMD. I mean, AMD is really starting it to go. We only read on one name today, and it's kind of funny because Amazon, the problem is this short that started the day, and we didn't have enough short to come back in, and then these longs, I just hadn't trusted them enough today, which we should have down here at 114. But you know, that is what that is right there. So we're going to watch out for Amazon, and we're also just going to sit here and watch. I told you where the target is, so we're actually now out of half of AMD, all right here, man, 67s. Like, if we're just going to sort of diddle in the middle here all afternoon again, and I mean, look, we just went to the bottoms. Remember, we were like, uh-oh, watch out for Google's crashing. And then it was like, no, and that's when I was like, we want to go both ways. Well, look at now, right? Now my net is just through the moon, and we were able to get out. I'm going to get another piece out here, if I can, at 13, and then take, did we get that? No, we did not. We'll probably get it. One more little bump. You can't stop AMD, can you? Let's see if that can go. Just one more little penny into the upside, and we'll get out of another piece here. I don't have that many well, I still have half. We'll see if it can go back up to the upside, which we still had it all. Come on, just give me 13s right now. Not that that matters, but here goes AMD to the upside. Let's look out for that. Let's go back over. Roblox was a long that we had earlier, right there, 37. Our best out, 37.30. That's dipped down as well. That's starting to take down the 200 period. So go back to some names that we remember. And again, that's why you got to have this working a little bit there. Go back to some names that you remember and then just hit those, right? So here it is again for Roblox, up to 36, 36.20. We'll see if it could take it out. I'd rather hit Roblox long at a VWAP break of 36.58. And there it is, man. We did get that AMD trade as well. So a nice little out for us on AMD, up to 13. We're now 30 cents in the money on this one. And then look at the damage done on Google. Nothing. This was a winner. That short on Google. So that's why when levels start to break, man, get out. So we're trying to scalp. I think we're doing a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, for the first time, I'm finally getting back into some microns. So let it come back up. It bounced off the lows. I'll give it to 49.25. I am crossing up aggressively. I don't use market order. So if you see a stop line above, it's not the price at which I would stop out. It's just how aggressive the order is. So if it breaks quarters, I want to cross all the way into this 49.30 range just to make sure we get the fill. Tesla will be very similar. Only I like that 80 level. The 280 level, I should say. We've now tested it a second time. We've just come up there, actually 3 times, really, if you want to look at it, since that little Twitter thing just happened. But if it gets through 280, there is some room to the upside on Tesla that needs to be respected. You'll see I'm in that FFIE when it broke back down below $1. Count that like Fubo on Friday. Like, I'm in it. If it's below $1, I'll kind of hang on to a piece of it, but it's not really moving, so it's not going to be worth going to our attention of. And we might get a breakout on Sava. I wouldn't flip long on this. At least for myself, even if the market's going up, this doesn't care too much what the market is doing. It's not like Tesla. Like a 280 on Tesla, that could easily be a reversal, but not in Cassava Science. As I say that, there goes 280 on Tesla.
Yeah, I'm, okay, so I mean, we're still on AMD there, which is turning out to be a great trade for me for the long side. Looking at maybe shorting Google, and again, like we said, this is not a play on the market. These are just sort of plays on these stocks. You come right back up here to VWAP again for Google. $99, I mean, is looking like a decent spot there. I don't know if you have the shot or not, Lucas, or maybe we can get it going at some point where they sort of, look at this, guy already has the shot right there. So this, how did you know I was gonna do that? That's pretty cool. But anyways, we have charts up here, charts here, charts everywhere. So what Neil and I will be looking at, there we go. You can see it's the same thing for Neil as his head goes up right now. So we are looking at different time periods, different names, things like that. So yeah, so that's, if you're ever looking at us or if you see us doing stuff like that, it's because we're looking for more opportunities. I have Google e-signal scanners and things like that to look at trade ideas. So as it goes, man, there's more stuff here to look at for me as well. But yeah, so Google, just looking at that $99 level, if you were wondering, it's $98.80 actually was that top, and I really like this. This was the pre-market high right there. We busted it. We went all the way to 100 and fell back down. I don't think we have the same market exuberance right now that we had early on. We're nowhere near these levels. It took off really, really big. I just feel like you're back at this level again. So why not look to short something like a Google into this level? So I want to see it get a little closer to 98. But Google has once again returned to my radar here for a possible short. Just a little more work on the long here and get to a little bit higher of a level before we'll put on the short. But I like Google at this level. And then unfortunately, AMD really can't get going here. I just took another out at 10. So you could see a bunch of outs here and I only have a third left. So only a third left of AMD as we start to fall back down. I mean, I hit offer and get out right there at 5s. But again, just getting a little nervous. We now have about 45% left of this name, AMD. Let's see if we take out the top. If not, we're just going to get out again for flat. Like I don't want to hold this too far against us. That's 66.80 right there. We'll get out at 66.80, man. You don't want your good trades like this Google trade here. Like, look, short, 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 capitalize, man. Like this is good, and then it breaks the 200 and we get out. Therefore, when it rips up 70 cents, we're not in it. We don't have to worry about protecting our already, one trade. So we're gonna try to do the same thing with AMD. 90, what did I say, 66.60 there? So what is this, 66.80. We're gonna get out if it takes that 66.80 on AMD. I know Neil's biting at something, but we'll go to Brendan quickly here. What's up?
More fuel on the Twitter fire. I mentioned this morning, if you joined us, that the current Twitter CEO was set to be deposed as well today. That has also now been postponed with a new time unclear. So more fuel, apparently, guys, for this rumor mill.
I do want to trade Twitter. Whatever. We'll see if it does happen. The only thing I want to mention.
Halt? No, but you can.
Yes.
Right. Like Twitter.
Unquestionably.
Right. They should put forth
unquestionably
the application. Would they have news that they want to release, and they should halt the stock. So to me, when it becomes final, I don't even think we'll have a chance to trade it. But again, what is the news? Is it a better price? Is he not taking the company? Did they settle on a look? If they settled on a termination fee, then Twitter's going to tank, in my opinion. It's only being held up here because there's a chance that someone pays more.
That's a horrible outcome for them. If they only get $1 billion, that's a horrible outcome for Twitter.
I don't know where to go.
They have mucked this up big time. If all they get is the $1 billion termination fee, the stock is screwed if they do that. All I was going to get at here was when I talked about Rivian, I wanted to test back into VWAP, so it got right into VWAP. Also, importantly, this 34.30 high. So I did add to it once we rejected that top and got back in, not back in, but added to the short when it got to that price. So Rivian wants to try to go Sava for its duty or for its reasons as the market went up, rejected 47 again. So it's heading back down to the bottom. So I'm going to try to get some out before it eventually hopefully heads to VWAP down here. So I'm still in the Sava short. But Twitter, I think you're absolutely right in terms of if there is something to be said right now and there's a comment that could be made, it should be halted for that. So right now it's trading on pure speculation. That being said, if you look at where it is, like it has been just sitting in this range on the daily, 41 to 42, 42 and a half for the longest time. And it wouldn't make any sense to me that they would settle at this point for only the termination fee, but you can sort of see the range that it's sitting in. If it wants to break out of this channel, fine, like respect it. I think if you get above 42.50, there might be some shorts that need to unwind here because on any kind of deal speculation, there's always arbors that are in here trading this. So when I say squeeze, I don't mean like GameStop or anything like that. I just mean short duration traders. If you hold above 42.50, there's going to be some shorts that need to cover to be sure. Like I would need to cover if Cassava Sciences had broken to the upside, right? It just came down. I took my first out there. So hopefully it's going to turn back into VWAP. Why are these bids so close? I'll get some more bids down in front of 45, but that's starting to work in to that downside.
So where did we say our next target for AMD was? 67.40. If it gets there, then we've got a good little trade for you. This is the trade that we just put on for you guys again here today. There it is, man. AMD right now on that long, man. We kept on talking about this long, when it was down here, and that the fact that I even wanted to get some shares if it dipped down in. Unfortunately, I guess, our hand was forced, and we were able to get that short right there once it broke that 50 period, and now it's off to the races. It just took down 67.30. I told you that's where my next out was going to be on the upside of 40, so we got an out there at 19 or 18. Now let's see if we can get that 40. Otherwise, we'll just wait for that 80 to break now that we got another piece out. So we only have 20% left of this name. I still like it, but again, I got to sell into some strength at some point as well, right? So we're going to do that. We do not. I saw someone asking already when Brennan gets it, we'll give you that market and close and balance. It's a little too early, way too early to worry about that right now, obviously. So we will worry about that when time comes through. Okay, here we go. So there's a little bit more Twitter stuff, but Brennan's going to be on over that whenever that comes through. So we will ignore that for now. Wow, Neil, one name that, unfortunately, I'm going to hit this, but it's going to be for the other way. And you guys know what's up, Ape Nation, but AMC today looks like it once again takes out 52-week lows, and I'm nowhere to be found. I did have that offer, though, guys, at 750. Unfortunately, it didn't hit during our show, and then at about noon is when it took down that 750, and it has never come back. You were never, ever, 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 ever. Who says that? Never, ever, ever, ever. There's a wrestler that says never, ever, ever, ever. I'll have to figure out who that was. Yes. Who is that?
Oh,
why?
For the love of, come on, man. I'm getting too old for this.
This is way too old. Why did I not know who that
Jericho,
is?
man.
Chris Jericho. Yes, love Chris Jericho.
If I didn't get that, I just slapped me in the face because that's too easy.
But you are right, though. It is also Outcast for never, ever, forever, ever.
That's the rap line. But
Chris
Jericho.
Chris Jericho, good one on that one. But yeah, I mean, AMC, never came back, regardless of Jericho or not. 750 there, never showed its face again. Tried to break it a couple times, but didn't. And then since then, you're down to $7 again. So yeah, there goes AMC. It sucks, man, for all the apes out there. But remember, you still have ape plus AMC. But as far as I know, ape was what, 350? Yeah, 373 right now.
It actually had a strong day today.
So 7 plus 3.5. So you're still at about 11 or so. Let's call it 1040 to be exact for AMC. So it's still sucky, but you are breaking that back down again, back through 7. So realistically, like I said, if you're going to compare it to these prices, you're still here. You're still at 1030. So because you got to add the two together. Obviously, no charting is going to show you that. So right there, AMC
that would be cool.
9. Yeah, it's really right here at 1030 right now, but you're still breaking lower, man. I think you got to look out below on that 7 break. It's broke once to 698. I don't know if that just happened or what, but yeah, I doubt it actually broke, but we're showing that it broke. So 698 maybe a couple seconds ago. If it did, it was while I was looking at it, so I should have been able to notice, but I didn't. So we're going to wait here for AMC to break even lower. And by the way, we just continue the bangers with AMD because there it is. It's starting to go. My offer is at 37, right ahead of this VWAP, which we called when we were down here. Just should have held them all, but that's not the way we trade. So nice little upside move here for AMD. Let's see where it goes.
There we go, and we'll do one of these because I'm using the plane crash because it's coming to the downside. But Sava just worked down, so I got my next out in front of 45. Took a buck on the second part of it, but I'm now in the Twitter trade. Obviously, I will keep ear to the ground and always have a stop because at any point in Twitter, and I said, if it gets back above that 42.50, I think, and it runs at the highs, there's going to be some people that are looking to cover shorts. So it makes another run at that high of the day. If it fails to break it, always watch out for a potential rug pull. I grabbed some 53s and some 55s in here on the way back to breaking that 42.50 and then played half of it out to the high of the day. If it wants to try to hold these 40s, fantastic, but there will be a stop beneath this at all times. I think you just I think if you're trading this, you have to, because like if a statement comes out saying, hey, everything that's out there in social media is nonsense, there is no potential deal, well, then Twitter could easily just go right back to 41 bucks. It was at 41 before, and believe me, it can definitely get to that price. I don't want to be shorted because if there's any juice to this, I think the risk is not there. And certainly I think it makes a heck of a lot of sense if you want to be trading it because it's moving. Just understand the nature of the beast here. The stock could halt at any moment. The stock, you got to be paying attention to it. The more news could drop at any second. Brendo?
Just be careful with this. It's all over the place, guys. Now there's many reports coming across suggesting they're both trying to reschedule. So both Elon and the current CEO of Twitter trying to reschedule these depositions that were supposed to take place today.
Yeah, you know what? As you say that, it's like, nah, I'm just going to get out and cancel my stop. Like, it doesn't even... Like, that's enough for me. Like, that's enough. If both of them, if Elon was trying to, fair enough, but they're both trying to reschedule, like, that could be, there's a lot of things that could be very innocent about that doesn't involve them making a deal. The more I think about it. So it does give me that breakout style trade, and there might be some scalp trades to be had because the squeeze is still on, but it needs to break some of these highs. It's rejected the high now twice. No need to fight it too far. As far as Tesla goes, I mean, I think Tesla might end up being a bit of a different story. It's trying to break out this channel. I did get some on the initial break. Like when we broke that 280, it did get up to like almost 281 there. Now the market wants to come back in. I'm looking at VWAP. If it can't bounce off VWAP here, then I think it's going to break that trend and maybe head back to those lows. And that recent lows are like 276. Like, that's just too far. Can't hold it to 276. If it can bounce here in front of VWAP, then it can be worthy of an add, work this back up to the upside, and then look to see if this one wants to trend. Rivian, if I'm long Tesla and that's working, Rivian's starting to work back into the downside, so I just got one leg out. Sava, again, still going to be working out for me here, but I might be done with Tesla with Twitter. I don't know. It just does not feel like it's going to be worth it. I was talking myself into a reason why it was going to be good. And even as I just said it, when Brendan brought that last piece of news, now look at it. It's like get out when it breaks back that 42.50, and immediately it's like 20 cents to the downside. Like, you were only getting 20 cents on the break of 50 anyways. So that's already gone 1-to-1 and still doing tremendous volume. But it might not be worth it. And the other side of it that I should also say is we're day trading. Right? As a day trader, if it halts and you're caught in a halt, this happened to me on Save. then you're stuck in that thing potentially till tomorrow. Overnight risk. You don't really want that as a day trader. So that's another reason why. I mean, not just the fact that it's flushing here, good thing we got out, but that's another reason. If I don't want to get caught in some kind of an overnight halt, and at any point they can be like, there's too much going on, we're halting the stock.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of can kicking there on Tesla or on Twitter. I don't know, like he just keeps on doing this kind of stuff, wants to pay the lawyers. So they're going to keep getting paid on that one. All right, so just quickly there, we did get out of some AMD at 67.15 there when it came back down, just right here. So, I said I'd try to hold for the highs there, but when the market came in, I was really like, okay, well, we just made those highs. We didn't short anything, so we got to get out of some of the longs that we have. And unfortunately, it didn't really go down any further. So that's good for our longs. But again, trying to reload something if we do get longer. I do have like a bull trap play that I want to do right now. And hopefully I'm not the one getting trapped. I think Meta, we could trap people. If this market goes upside right now, Meta's been down like all day. Like it's been pretty sick, man. We started to go short when we left you on the show there at 140 flat. And we got out at 139 for only the dollar. Yeah, okay, now it's starting to go back up to the upside as AMD now starting to rip up. But I like this play shorting Meta. So I like, every time I zoom in, it's no good right there. So I think we could short people into here around this 139 area, give it like to 139.30, 139.40, just to see if people want to really break through on Meta or not. Meta's down that 1.51% and at its 52-week low. And every time we move down, it's just creating a new 52-week low. So I feel like here it comes. Let's just try it. I mean, I'm sitting there, 139. We'll try to go short, maybe a little bit closer, to that top of one. Yeah, that's still one. I don't really want to short at that top. I feel like people are going to break that out right there. Then I can get short in here. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to just do that right now. I was looking at Google to do the same thing, but I just feel like Meta might be better. But again, if Meta, I don't think there's anything between Elon and Meta or anything like that. I just feel like maybe if something happens to Tesla, kind of the same type of business there with social media. But yeah, I don't want to get too crazy with Twitter and Meta. So all right, let's see if we can trap. So we're going to go short here and then try to get out if it breaks through 139.30 or so. So I have the plan. I want to get out. I want to average into this trade. If 139.30 gets taken out, which is that level right here, which is view up, but give it a couple pennies more than that, then we'll get out. But I want to start to short pretty soon here on Meta, just in case the market wants to do this again. Sure, you're at the highs. That's great. Good for you. But I just feel like it wants to come back in a little bit. And someone said like, oh, Sean, it was this morning. I think it was you, Wade, if you're still on. What's up, Wade? I like that name, though. But you were saying that, hey, I'm like always a bear. But honestly, the number one stock for me today is Apple, and it's the long. So I don't have a problem switching it up. But for right now, I like that Meta. I'm just a little bit interested in trying to get shorter, a little bit higher. Let's see. Let's be patient, man. Let's play that patient game. Can Meta come up into the 80s? If it does, I'm sitting there with it. So let's see where Meta goes.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be willing to play in both directions. I keep looking over, thinking Apple's going to give us a good entry. I mean, Apple's so strong right now that if the market does make a bit of a rally, I feel like Apple's going to be a part of it. I was looking at that 150.50. When it gets this far away, I have to cancel my bid in front of 150. If we get there, I probably have a different feeling about it, and we have to drop $1.50 to get there. I think we can start playing inside of this channel if we're going to be this strong. Breaking out at 152, I'm going to have Apple if it breaks 152. Let's just make it easier. If we break at 152, I like Apple. I'm already in Tesla, so I figure that'll probably have shaken itself out by that time. But Apple's too strong, and we are testing some of these levels I was sort of mentioning on the ES. That same lower high, like the bottom channel we were in the pre-market. We're basically right here, right now, trying to break out of it and get through that 3,700. So if that happens, Apple I think might be that place to be. Brendan?
Not entirely sure what I take from this, but I'll pass it along and you guys can decide for yourselves. Here's MindMed doing big things right now. It was up 6.5%, coming back a little bit. This is Freeman Capital, who apparently has a large position in MindMed. Just posted this on their Twitter, MindMed's Mickey Mouse offer to FCM and their planned response. So this happening, it would appear anyways, guys, because of this.
Isn't that kid's name Freeman? What's the last name of that kid?
That was the guy, yeah,
who made
with
26
his dad's
million.
a doctor.
Yeah, and he made 26.
Yeah, it was
Look that up right now because I believe that's going to be that kid's last name. So yeah, I mean, Katina Capital also putting a downgrade on right now, a couple names as well. We'll give those to you once I'm short. Like that's all that these guys do, right? So just be careful. Like whenever I'm hearing something like Freeman Capital, I'm pretty sure that kid that made all that money could be completely wrong, but that just could be that kid putting out a meme because it's so low. I mean, MindMed, like, how does that taste right now?
Yeah,
MNMD. I'm actually going to call it up on this chart so you can see all the splits and just how absolutely disastrous this stock has been here. Even if I go to like a weekly chart here on MindMed, you're gonna see what I'm saying. Like, no wonder they're putting this out. I mean, this thing is down to now $6 when just, I don't know, you want to go a month ago, it was at $15. So yeah, I would be putting out a repeat piece like that as well. What's up, Brendan?
Yeah, I just threw in the chat there. Jake Freeman is the kid's name apparently. So big name or big move, big move for MindMed.
If it's him, I mean that's ridiculous. But anyways, the moves like that to me are to be faded. It's a matter of what the level is going to be, and I don't know if it's there yet. I had a wick up here at 630, and I think that's a pretty good level if it were to have gotten there. I mean, I don't really. Yeah, I guess there was a wick already up at 630. That might have come and gone, and you might have missed that opportunity to get that fade on them. Tesla, at least for the time being, testing back to 279. I thought we'd get into VWAP. We didn't. Sava is still working, and Rivian, we did take some up, but I missed a chance to reload Rivian just there. It got back up, back into VWAP. No, I actually didn't get to VWAP. Never mind. It's still in the channel. We never actually got back into VWAP, so we didn't test that 34.20. Looks like that's going to fall asleep a little bit. But the other one that we're looking at was XPeng. That's one of the strongest names in the market. Well, I can tell you every single bounce we get, XPeng is doing absolutely nothing. It feels like this should just be shorted at this point because if it's not going, it's up 6%. It's already pretty top heavy, and if we're going to start screaming up and this is going to go nowhere, then I'm going to like the fade on XPeng. If we break through this, fair enough, it could go to VWAP. But if I can get short, sort of in this 10-cent range, then the risk to reward is going to favor being on the south side of XPeng. Market goes up, you don't go, and you've got this much room to fall. I like that. I like that R&R, as we like to say.
Yeah, it's too bad because we were trying to trap people on Meta, and unfortunately it didn't go up high enough. We should have started it right there, and then we'd be in the money now, 50 cents. But hey, look, we can mock ourselves all the time because we do it because of our age, this and that. But that's a pretty good memory that I'm pretty proud of myself to get that Freeman Capital name going there. So I knew we heard that from somewhere, so take that with a grain of salt there on MindMed. So, like I said, that's what that is. I'm not shorting or long on any sort of a rumor from those guys. That's for sure. AMC is looking at $7 right now again. It was just there. It made that bottom at 695. I think you can just short that 690. What is that very bottom there? 697. I think I like that against the 50 period. I mean, it's just been going down here, down, down, down. You can probably short it now at 7. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be enough volume to do anything in this name, but AMC right now, wow, down to $7.
Wow.
And Neil, without looking, what do you think GameStop's price is?
Oh, goodness. 28, maybe?
Yeah, no, it's 24.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
I knew I was going to guess.
No, you're a lot closer.
I knew I was going to guess high.
You are a lot closer than I would have been. Honestly, it's been so long.
But you just talked about AMC at 7. So
yeah.
That was like the first. Anytime you ask those questions, like I know I'm guessing low because the other one's down.
No,
right?
I was just like, someone put in the chat, will AMC, break above 25? And I was like, above 25? Like, I didn't realize GME was below 25. But today it did get as low as 24.10 right there. So here's GameStop right now. And remember, AMC realistically is $10 because you got to add those ape shares. But again, we are going to get this fixed in our charts. We just talked about that with the development team. But there's GameStop, even though it's split, like it is really low right now. I'm going to call it up on a split adjusted chart just so you guys can see that. I feel like you want to fade a lot of these names. So here's GameStop right now, and it just looks pretty bad. You're getting down to this level again that we saw in June. So if the NASDAQ does break out, that's $24. So I feel like the day's low is what you're waiting for on GameStop. Breaking back down below 24 is something to look at. You have the 50 period all the way up there at 31. I don't know, man. Between Bed Bath & Beyond, GameStop, and all these other names, I don't know where you want to look, but I feel like these meme names have seen their best days for a bit until money supply gets figured out, because if there's no one going to be able to put money back into the market right now, who's going to buy the call options? How are you going to get these squeezes in some of these names? So I don't know. I look for some more downside in GME, GameStop, Bed Bath & Beyond. Really? I mean, until retail comes back, I just don't see those names running anywhere. You're going to get games being played. I guess the best thing to do is wait for earnings.
And even then, like the thing is, earnings give you at least a catalyst for shorts, some shorts to cover, right? That's the reason you can wait out for them. They're just not working in this market. I did finally get the bounce into VWAP on Tesla, so we got the reload. Had to be, a little bit patient with where we wanted to buy that dip. I did not, like I said, I did not get more shares of Rivian, but that kind of is what it is. To me, it either comes to your price or it doesn't here, but I'll try to get some out of Tesla on this little bit of a bounce. Just got back above 279, so this feels like it could be strong. Like it just whipped, like that was just a wick bottom down to VWAP on Tesla. Like it was just there 2 seconds ago, right? Next thing you know, it's already bouncing back up. So this looks relatively strong. I keep looking for Apple to break that 152. It is not, because the market's starting to roll over, but nice little bounce opportunity there on Tesla. Sava might not do what I want in terms of like running back into VWAP here, but we've seen this party before. And the last time I traded Sava somewhat like this, I was reloading it a little bit too aggressively. I'm not going to bother getting into more shares. Either it pulls back down here, or we don't want to fight this freight train. It's up 10%. You know how that can squeeze on you, Brendo.
News pending hold here for Nautilus, guys, which is NLS in New York. Very lightly traded, no volume whatsoever. The bigger kind of angle that everyone's talking about right now is Peloton, which is NASDAQ, obviously, popping up on volume. So Nautilus obviously has very similar products in some ways to Peloton. Halted, news pending, Peloton pops up.
Like, of course, that one's 3 letters and it's
so
New
Nautilus
York.
has Bowflex and all that kind of
exactly.
stuff. So, but I didn't realize. I mean, I did realize the Nautilus. I mean, I looked at that when Peloton was really hot fire, and I thought that was like a teen stock, like
it
like
was.
13, 15, something like that. So you could see here Nautilus. Let's just see what Peloton's doing on that move. Again, you know what? Like, it's not really great news for Peloton. Like, if Nautilus gets bought out or something like that, it's not bad news, but it's just like that's one less person to buy these guys out. So buy Peloton out. I don't know. We'll wait to see if there is any sort of a movement there on Nautilus, on Peloton. But it is your NLS. There's nothing to talk about until that news gets disseminated. But there it is right now, $1.67. For Nautilus, that's where it halted. So we'll see news pending, obviously, when that comes out. But it's been a dumpster fire of a name as everyone returns to, like we talked about this last week. Every time we talk about Peloton, it's the same story. But as people return back to the gyms and things like that, there it is. Yeah. So right. Yeah. Like, okay, this name is actually probably a lot worse than Peloton. So it doesn't really matter. Pratt will make jokes about like slapping an iPad on a bike and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, just these. First of all, they didn't IPO there. I don't know why our chart's not going back that low, but that far. But that's a $30 name, guys, down to $1.67. So I know Peloton has a very similar high, very similar chart projection like that.
It might be worse.
No, it can't be. $30 to $1.67. I mean, even if Peloton was how much? I mean, technically, I guess it could be worse. I don't know what Peloton's high was.
Didn't it get to 180?
Yeah, so. But Nautilus, again, like I said, that chart is not, it didn't fill it back. But yeah, the same sort of a story goes, man. I mean, still all the way to the downside, whether or not it's the same valuation or not. Nautilus probably gets bought out, and then Peloton's going to have to sit around and wait for a buyer. I still feel like Nike, Amazon, Lulu, that new company, Alo. There's a lot of opportunities here to buy a name that is down to $3 billion in Peloton. I believe anyways that's its valuation. Let me just double check that before I go on. That I just feel like it's so cheap. Nike could sneeze this. Apple, honestly, is a perfect buy for Peloton. But, okay, there it is right there. Yeah, exactly. So I'm almost dead on that one as well. $2.9 billion. They paid, what is it, $3 or $4 billion for Beats headphones back in the day. I believe that they could do that. They want to get subscription model. That's all that Peloton is right now, basically. Once you have the bike, you're into that ecosystem. It's absolutely perfect for Apple. But again, at these valuations, man, you just want to buy it and hope that you're right. This name could continue to fall down without a buyer. I don't know what's next for these guys. They just released the rowing machine. I don't I don't know. Like I said on Friday, I think that's just more of a reason to sell them, because when they bring out their rowing numbers and they're way less than expected, that's just going to add fuel to the fire. So watch out for Peloton there. I still think that they're a buyout and eventually get bought out, but you don't want to hold the stock because you think something's going to happen. At some point, valuation is going to have to matter, and Peloton just keeps on getting crushed. Let's wait to see what happens with Nautilus.
The only thing I would say is I feel like Pinterest, there might be something to that one, just the way that it's trading. And sometimes you can look at that. When these stocks get an artificial floor on them, which Pinterest definitely has, then speculation might actually be true, because then there's some people really buying it underlying, even in the market weakness. I just got out of Tesla. Got to be able to pay yourself here. I think it always makes sense. It's starting to fail at that 280. Remember the 280 break had only got to 280.50. Like 50 cents on that break. And now you're stalling out here when the market's starting to roll over. So, like I said, I got into XPeng short. It bounced off VWAP. That's great. Maybe you can do so again. But I'm going to get out of Dodge here, because this overall market does feel like it wants to run back to the downside. And if I had to go long in something, I just, the 150 in Apple, we're running out of time for it to happen. There's about 35 minutes to go. It's not impossible. We could still get there. It's just, I feel like we are running out of time. I don't want to be going long at 150 too late in the day, because those levels, they don't matter as much when you start getting into that close. But we'll see what happens with Nautilus. For those of you that are still watching Twitter, I got out of the trade because I just said, you know what, I don't want to deal with the risk and the headline risk and yada, 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 believing that there could be a squeeze. It pulled all the way back to 42. I was not holding it I would never have held it that far against anyways, not the way that I would try to be scalping this. But it did break higher, got up to 43.5, and is now holding well above that. So, I do believe that kind of a rumor and this kind of a catalyst does get some people under pressure that are sort of sitting in this and have been sort of shorting these levels, because this stock has been a gorgeous short. Like, if you were just sitting there scalping it all day long, you're an algo, whatever, you're just shorting pops into 42 and you're working these trends, lower highs, and you're holding on, trying to grab like 30, 40, 50 cent type wins. When a move like this happens and resets, you can get caught off guard, right? And you could be averaged in. I think there's some of that unwinding right now. I just got away from it because of the headline risk, and if something really happened and they halted it overnight, then as a day trader, I'm caught. I didn't want that to happen to me. I do still look for a little bit of Apple to the long side here. Sava's coming back down. That looks like it's going to work, but that Apple, it's got to be either down to 150 or a 152 break. I don't want to diddle in the middle here. Either let's break out to the upside in the market and Apple can lead the way, or we're testing that support. Anything else in the middle is pretty much, I think, no bueno. I had my bid just to get all out of Sava if we can get back down below 45 or even at 45 here. Just feels like one and done is the right play here on Cassava Sciences. This short will have worked out. The last time I did this, we had a couple of scalps, kept sort of averaging back into it, and it eventually took out the top. Don't want that happening today.
No, I'm going to. I mean, I've got. Well, we'll do this because it is a new position, but it's not. Like, we're going to wait for it. We have to wait for this one. It's going to be meta. I like the short up here. We weren't able to get anybody to sort of bite on that because the market didn't go up there, quite frankly. So, we don't have that short. But at the same time, if I do zoom in, you'll see what I'm talking about right now. You have that 200 period. We've bounced off here a couple times with that bottom being 50. I mean, this is the kind of trading that I'm trying to do right now. So, give me a reason to get into a position and we'll do it. As long as I can talk my way in and out of it, then I think that's fine. So right now we are going to go long into Meta, and we're long right now. So here we go. We're long at 84. We just talked about it. I'm trying to get more longs down here. I'm bidding right now 64, so that's literally right where this period number is right there. Why am I bidding there? I want to get out at 50s if it does break. So I feel like the risk to reward is going to be there on this name. Also, we are still long AMD. That's about to come out right now. I should have adjusted it when this came up, but we're still going to use this period right there, and that is going to be just making sure my stop is in, break of 80. So a break of 80, which is right there, we're going to get out of AMD. That could also be a spot to get back in. It's just like we've already taken this trade well, so we'll wait to see if that does come through. I am long, of course, on Meta right now. I want to check back in on Roblox, but look, Roblox kind of at the level that we liked. It kind of started to barcode up there. So again, a break of 36.25 or so on Roblox might get us there, but I would rather wait for VWAP to get through some of these levels. So that's 36.60, but we can all see the time right now, and it's 3:27, getting close to 3:30. Oh, I'll do this for you. Shout out to everybody. Keep saying they like when I do this. I I see it all the time. So we are not buffering anything on purpose, obviously. This is a YouTube thing. So right now we are in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It's 327.34, 35, and 36. So now you know sort of where you are with respect to us. We don't, we would tell you about our positions in and out, so they're not super time sensitive. But I know some of you just wonder if there's a delay on it, and that's what it is right now. So if it is, I think
especially with the imbalances coming.
Yeah, see 5 seconds there in North Carolina. That's,
North Carolina.
5 seconds. Yeah, go on, throw it up, take your shirt off. Twist it around your head.
Spin it like a helicopter.
Yeah, so right there's a little bit
what's
of
up.
Petey Pablo right there. So yeah, everyone knows what's up there, hopefully. But and if they don't, they just like,
we
what
can
the
do this
hell
all day.
Are these idiots doing this for?
We can do this all day.
But yeah, and we'll actually technically we pretty much do it all day. Please do not send in any emails that you want us on all day, because that's how we get re-energized. We listen to Petey Pablo during lunch. We get all jacked up. We talk to Fahad. We do things like that. Fahad shoots threes in the back, getting his game on point, ready to go. Fahad, what do you think? Say in our ear. What do you think right now, with very little warm up or anything like that? What would you shoot from the line, the free throw line? What percentage do you think you would shoot from the free throw line right now? So we'll wait to hear. I think honestly, I can go north of 70%, but not north of 80. So I think I'd be between 70 to 75% at the line. We'll wait to hear what Sharif or what Fahad has to say.
Are you warming up? Oh, get the hell out of here, Fahad.
Fahad just went north of
92.5%.
So basically, he is technically Steph Curry. I'm going to look up what Steph Curry's percentages are.
There's probably 2 or 3 people that have had 1 or 2 seasons at 92.5 with a legitimate
amount. In the building, we have a man right now.
Come on, Fahad. 92.5%. Yeah, he just goes, they're called free for a reason.
They're free.
Look, I'll tell you this right now. I shot above 80 my senior year. I shot above 80 in my senior year. If you put me on, I haven't practiced, I'm shooting 55% because I haven't picked up a basketball in a decade. That's real talk. And I was a good foul shooter in high school.
Yep.
No, high school was a long time ago. I ain't shooting no 80, 92.5%.
Steph is 94, someone said.
You better watch your tone with that.
That's funny, man. I love it.
But you know what, though? All this ridiculousness, you're hearing the nonsense from Fahad, but I just saw something else, right? We talk about percentages. I'll give you a percentage. It's going to be a rough one, so bear with me on this. 4,900 people watching, 720 likes. That is less than, does the math, that is less than 16% of those watching that have hit the like button. So I'm not expecting a Fahad-style foul shooting percentage there, but you'd think that we could get a like percentage that was at least close to what Wilt could do at the line or Shaq at the line. That'd be fantastic. But come on, we don't ask for anything else. The show was completely free, as you guys know. We're giving you live trades here. Okay. So just please take a second, hit that like button. I promise we'll try to get Fahad under control because quite clearly you asked someone a serious question, and 92.5% is one of the more ridiculous answers I've ever heard in my entire life. Although, Fahad, I would love to see us do a challenge where you shoot 100 foul shots. And if you, we'll think of something legit, because if you can actually hit 90.
No, he cannot. He even doesn't think he can.
But Sean, if he did hit over 90 of 100 foul shots,
he will not do
real,
that.
I'm telling you, you want me to be humiliated? I will do something humiliating if you could actually do that. I'm just saying.
I know, but it's not a realistic
thing. Think of what you want,
Why
Fahad.
did I start this? What have I done?
Think of what you want, Fahad, because ain't no damn way you're shooting 92.5%, and I'm willing to put something on the line for that. That'd be way too much fun. And it's easy money. I don't want money. I want it to be like a fun humiliation type bet.
Okay. I'm not even sure why I brought this up. I knew he would throw down a ridiculous number.
Say 75 next time.
Yeah, at least I went with 75. I mean, that's probably way too high. But wow. All right, okay, let's just move on. All right, so Facebook came in, and just as fast as my man's ball would hit the rim and bounce the other way, we fail. Put Meta into the gates of hell. Although I feel like my stop was way too early on that one. But there it is to the downside anyway. So here goes Meta. Let's see where it wants to go now. It is starting to tick down lower. So good out for us on Meta at 50. Not much skin off the old back there on that one. Not like those free throws again here. As we're going to wait to see about this Meta trade as it's starting to fall down as well. Funny thing is our AMD is actually holding out out right now. So AMD holding out okay on the downside here as we wait to see where it wants to go from now. But AMD, I feel like, is going to be pretty strong. The market just broke down to some of those levels. And the thing about trapping, remember we wanted to trap Meta? Look at Meta as how much it's down. It's down 2%. You know, so like we were, trust me when I tell you this, like we're well aware that this was going to be a slippery slope here. We did not put on a big amount of shares. We just thought that if we were able to bounce, I mean, right now is the bouncing spot. Like instead of just talking about this, we should have gone long there at 137, but then 137 breaks, then you're all the way down here. I think the better play would be to stick with something that we really think and believe in right now, and it's going to be the AMD short up here at 67.50, or the AMD long down here. Look, there's only 33, it's now 333 here, and there's not that much time left in the day. Neil and I, of course, have to be flat, so if you do see us ever talk about, you know, we're on a prop floor here with Day Trade the World, we do not carry anything overnight, so we got to be very, very careful here in the last 20 minutes that we put on the right amount of risk with the right amount of shares. So that's something that, you know, we're looking at least I'm conscious of it. I know Neil is as well. So, you know, we got to make sure that I'm putting the money to work in the right spot, because like we've just sat here all day for 7 hours, and you know, one wrong play here and you can wipe out your whole day. That's trading, and I'm once fine with that.
You know who? I don't. Maybe you do or don't remember this, but like everyone tries to get to these round numbers for goals. There was a trader I knew that was trying to get to, like, everyone talks about like the G note and sometimes on the floor. And this particular trader, I won't say their name, but I will tell you the number. They had gotten to like $992 on the day. And all I'm telling you is this, is if you take 1,000 shares of a stock and make 1 cent on 1,000 shares, that's $10. And that's all they needed to do, and that's what they started doing, right? So the first trade, they tried to take 1,000 for a penny, and they lost 2 cents, and they went from 992 to 972. When all was said and done, the trader, I think, was maybe up $200 or $300, and this started at about 3:20, 3:30 in the afternoon. True story, it actually happened on this floor. Clearly, you know, no one ever wants that to happen, but that's the problem when you force trades and overtrade. You never want to be chasing round numbers. It's stupid. Like, it's the same thing. 992, 1,000, same number. I'm now out of cassava sciences. It got close enough, but let's not try to get too crazy and be too big of a hero, although I should maybe not hit that one anymore. Bouncing off, it just bounced off VWAP. I was looking to see if it would fall further, but it bounced off VWAP in 44.50, so I'm out of cassava sciences. I still have XPeng, and I feel like, how many times am I going to fall for the trap of, okay, this stock is, this Chinese ADR is moving, it's got a chance to go, let's get into it. It starts breaking down, the market starts rolling over. The second I'm in it, it's now got a 4-cent range. So once again, I have been tricked into trading Chinese ADR thinking it's going to pull back. I'll give it a shot to go into VWAP, but I'm going to tighten this stop up to be sure. Thank you guys for hitting the likes. I saw a few suggestions in there because, as far as I'm concerned, I want to see Fahad in the gym and this to happen. Someone said that I should dress up like, if he does it, I should dress up like a cheerleader and sing the Barbie Girl song. But at 93%, you could probably come up with anything and I would do it because it's not going to happen. I suggest that we do something like 80%.
It has to be something for him. He's going to lose.
I know, but if we do 80%, I'll run some like suicides or something. Like a ridiculous number.
You don't have to do anything.
But he's I don't know. He's not doing 93. We need.
No, you could just say that you'll do that edge walk on the CN Tower.
I ain't doing that, bro.
But you ain't doing it anyways. That's. Do we? I mean,
you know the crazy. So here's the weird. I'm not even.
Fahad, we're talking about like a 10-foot.
I'm not afraid of heights. I wouldn't do edge walk, and I'm not even afraid of heights. I just couldn't.
I'm kind of afraid. I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm not afraid of heights in the traditional way, but I am afraid to do that. What edge walk is you can. So the CN Tower has a top part there. Maybe we can get a picture of edge walk if we can find it. And basically they tie a bungee, and then you can like, you know, look down over like this and basically just walk along the edge of the CN. Yeah, there it is. I mean, Neil, you have it. Any one of those.
I'll go look good.
No, let me get a
good one.
There we go. Who has that? No, they're not even doing your screen. Someone else has it. But there it is right there. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. And like I said, I'm
not doing that.
Like I am not afraid of heights, but that Nepa. I am not doing that.
Make it happen.
But at the same time, my man also ain't hitting 92%.
There is one way I would do that.
Oh, by the way, so I personally, and I put this in our chat so everybody, I personally reached out to Kevin O'Leary's team, and they are happily saying any time for Kevin O'Leary, and they are going to reach out to Sam Bankman-Fried again.
SBF.
Let's go. Anytime I can talk to the 30th richest man in the world, although I'll have to reevaluate.
Where's Tron at, though?
Where's Tron? Tron depends if his hand is hot in the dice game or not. But Tron could be there as well. If you don't know Dave Chappelle's show, you guys can Google that. But all joking aside, we've already had Sam Bankman-Fried, of course, the co-founder and CEO of FTX, on the show once. I was going to say numerous times. That's Kevin O'Leary numerous times. She said Kevin can come back wherever, and that's great. I would love to have Kevin back on, talk a little bit of watches, find out why he's all over the iWatch. And then I want to talk to him a little bit about crypto as well. And then Sam Bankman-Fried, that would be a great catch one more time. He was great on our show. He's spoken in front of Congress about crypto and regulation and all that. He's well for regulation. So I definitely would like to have a talk with Sam Bankman-Fried on the show one more time. So thanks to, I won't say who their team is, but thank you to you guys as well for that. And I'm glad that we did reach out. So we're going to do that coming through hopefully soon. The return of Mr. Kevin O'Leary and hopefully Sam Bankman-Fried coming through from FTX. I mean, look, you know, we get the big hitters. You know
Exactly.
I mean? It might have been also because they heard about the 92%, so maybe Sam Bankman-Fried wants to see about that as well.
Is it possible?
Maybe we need to have like a Fahad coin where basically there's 0% chance the coin goes down. You know what I mean? It's like, what are the chances the coin goes down? Probably 0% chance because you're investing, right, Fahad, in his future.
I will tell you this, though.
I have another Fahad story, by the way.
If by some stretch of the if by some weird, crazy, unbelievable circumstance hits and he pulls this off, it would be one of the greatest things I've ever seen. That's all I'll say. But to SBF, my barber is always asking me about like the markets and crypto, and I always tell him this. I go, I'm not an expert on it. I can talk intelligently for a little bit, but I'm not an expert. I tell him to do two things. If you're going to invest in something, tell me the use case, and if you can't explain the use case, don't do it. And B, watch when Sam Bankman-Fried was on our program, and I gave him the clip. That's how get somebody who's smarter than you to educate you on something like that. That's why we want SBF. Brendo.
More Twitter headlines coming through, guys. Big flush there on this. According to Business Insider, Elon Musk will be forced to acquire Twitter for a $44 billion deal, according to a top M&A legal expert who warns that the billionaire is in trouble as he heads to court. Again, that's just a report from Business Insider. The New York Post then saying the settlement is not imminent despite deposition delays. So down and then right back up again.
I mean, ultimately this is why I sort of got out of it, because even if I believed it could have squeezed or squoze up to the upside, there's just way too much back and forth headline risk. But we'll do this. We'll ring a few registers and walk on. We got some old ones here, and I'm starting to make some notes on new graphics that we can get. I like that bull trap one. I think we can do bull and bear traps. Those are pretty fantastic. We talk about those often enough. But Rivian starts to come back into VWAP. All you have to do is whine and complain sometimes. And if you complain about a stock, sometimes it'll move. Not all the time. XPeng is still on the New York, last I checked. Yet every single time I type this in, I just go .NQ. I don't know why.
It's the worst, yeah.
Yeah, so it just pull back and finally breaking down into VWAP so I can take some of it out. I'm just going to have to get out of this FFIE. It's not really moving at this particular point. Like I told you, it's just going sideways. I was long in front of a buck. It broke a buck and I lost. I shorted at 98 and now it wants to do nothing at 86. So I don't know if it's going to fall any further than this. I might just pop on the bid here and get all out of it. But XPeng, Rivian both working to the downside. Apple, obviously it's a strong stock. This 152 break doesn't seem like it wants to happen. Neither does the push down to 150. So I don't think we're going to get either one of those two things. But that 150 level, gorgeous for tomorrow, I think. And Apple, relative strength on the week, I think can be put in. As long as we're above 150, above that 148 to 150, I think it's pretty reasonable to be buying dips on Apple. As I said, just getting out of that FFIE. And then we can see if these other two EV names that are not named Tesla can continue downside.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just reading some of the people's comments here. I mean, look, that's the whole thing about Twitter, right? Is that you got to wait to see. I feel like, he's signed. There's definitely some signed paperwork there. I mean, that's why we talk about, that penalty that he's going to have to incur if they do take that. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like if I was the board of Twitter or something and I could sort of vote on a settlement, man, I mean, you want to take this company private, do it. I mean, if they don't do it, then I don't know where this stock is going to fall to. We've seen the destruction happen. I mean, you're at 52-week lows with legitimate businesses like Microsoft. Google's at a 52-week low. And really Twitter, like you're gonna try to deny someone that's trying to pay, in my opinion, huge amount for you. Like let's just keep that where it is, right? Like Twitter was down here to $38 before Elon got involved, right? That goes back to March, like back in March. The June lows, like when everything in the market was hitting lows down here, this was up here. Why? Because they had the lawsuit, they had the bid behind it and everything. So now, if that bid has disappeared and all you're gonna take is some sort of a breakup fee, I just don't think that this name's gonna hold this 32 bottom. So you better settle somewhere in here, 44.45 instead of your 54.20, whatever that was up here. I don't think that that's gonna be a price that a judge or anybody's going to try to hold him to. But again, I ain't no judge, and if I was, this would be a fun case to be on for sure. But anyways, down there, let's just wait to see what happens. I feel like the story's not over here, and I think a lot of you would agree with us on that. So I'm going to hold that off on Twitter, although right now it's come back in. That was a great spike. If anything, pay attention to what Brendan's dropping to us, because as soon as something comes across the screen, we have the Icon terminal, not sponsored by, we pay for it. Oh yeah, Refinitiv. I got to give those guys a call too. And again, just talking out loud here, any news comes out, I think we're going to have to pay very close attention. I've kind of not ignored the Brendan stories, but every time a Twitter story comes out, I kind of go bah humbug. But now that we have this, where is Elon? Where is Jack Ma? Has that whole thing started again? When Elon comes out and starts talking about whatever this decision is, you're going to see a lot of movement here, whether or not it's a fregaze or what. We're going to wait to see what happens with Twitter. That should be a good one. Just quickly talk about the positions I have and don't have. This is a win right now, so let's go shoot these scores. The Maple Leafs, get this. They don't play for 3 or 4 months. They come back and they have a double-header exhibition game on Saturday. A game they've already played it. Like what? Like why are they playing? Yeah, they played Saturday at home.
How would you play?
Both games are doubleheaders at home. Yeah, they played Saturday afternoon at 3 or something, and then again Saturday evening. So they had to clear out the Scotiabank Arena, then put I don't know. To me, that was just nuts. Like, why not just have the game Sunday afternoon or something? We went 1-1. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Austin Matthews, again, coming off the Hart Trophy. We'll see what he can do. But, okay, so there it is.
Pay that man his money.
Oh, yeah. That's the one good thing about a salary cap is, honestly, is the best players.
They get paid.
Yeah, like, you're going to have to.
However, this is, and people are going to hate me for saying this, but it's just factually true. In all the salary cap leagues, whether it's salary cap or luxury tax, whatever you want to do it, the truth be told is that the best players end up getting underpaid. By any reasonable metric for like pay for wins, the best players consistently get underpaid, and it's like the medium range players that get pumped up for it. But that's what you have collective bargaining for, right? Like it's so that more people, so that everybody can make money. I actually know a guy, a lawyer, who did arbitration for the NHL.
Right.
I can't say his name or stories about it because it's kind of, he shouldn't have been telling me what he did, but some interesting stuff when they go into the table and what the team will say about the player when he's right there.
Oh yeah,
and they're just because they have
the Yankees are famous for that, man. Wait till you see what the Yankees leak on Judge. Just wait for that. You're gonna think Aaron Judge is like basically the worst person in the world come free agent time.
When he's a saint, really.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like they said the same thing about Derek Jeter. Yeah. They did it to Robinson Cano, so on and so forth. So we'll wait to see what happens. I mean, that story. And look, I mean, we're Blue Jay fans, so we're kind of supposed to hate on the Yankees, but shout out to Aaron Judge, obviously doing stuff that no one's done before. Well, one person did before, and we'll see if he can take, because he still hasn't got 61 yet, right? And that's going to happen today. They're in Toronto.
They're here
tomorrow.
So I'm kind of hoping, Aaron Judge, please do not hit don't break the record today and don't break the record tomorrow, because I'm going to try.
Yep.
Like Wednesday's the last day they're here.
But does that matter though? Because it's going to be, if he breaks it, he's going to set a new record. So I wonder what 61 would be worth anyways. Plus your seats are on the third base side. What, are you going to get a foul ball before he hits the home run?
There's zero foul. You can't get a foul ball anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They have the net now. Yeah, you can't get a foul ball anyways. Okay.
That's the downside.
Yeah, that's the downside. But it's safety first. All right, so there it goes. And plus, what's a foul ball worth anyways other than memories, really? Okay, so AMD, just a quick talk there, because, when I started this rant, that was a good trade. We got out there at 80. It dipped all the way back down to 60. Now it's starting to rip up. I am not in like trap mode anymore, although I'll listen to some trap music later on. We're going to wait to see here. We're going to adjust this. What's up, Travis Scott, and so on and so forth. Is he considered trap music? I don't know. I have to ask Lucas.
You got to say Fetty Wap, because he has a song, Trap Queen.
Yeah,
right?
Trap Queen, yeah. Would Travis Scott classify as that there,
that
Lucas? Is he like a trap rapper guy? You don't know? I thought you liked Travis Scott. Okay, he knows. He's hanging out on that. You guys tell me there. All right, so this is what the imbalance locator looks like. Obviously, right now, you're going to get in 3 minutes. This is all, no, yeah, I don't think so. Yo, what's up, Mike? By the way, Mike, I was waiting for you to come on the chat. Yeah, I like everything you're talking about there. Would love to get a pair of those Yeezys there. And I'm trying to, like, we got something going on, me and him back and forth, so we'll talk about that off air, but a shout out to you, Mike. Thanks for all that. Okay, we're going to go back here, and this is going to, now, nothing's updated right here, right? So it's all 929, 930. As of 350, these are all going to get updated again. And we do have a number from Brendan 7 minutes ago. I don't know if we read it out, but it's roughly 300 million to sell is the estimated side of imbalance with a small number. So sell is normally what will come out. The number we're uncertain of, and right now it's 300 million, which is a nothing burger as far as volume. So we'll wait to see there if that's the case. But right now, AMD just dancing around. I don't have any pending orders right now. I don't have any.
I just got flat.
Yeah, I don't have any scripts to come out or anything.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I do like Meta though. It's just coming into the imbalances. The only thing about Meta is it's at the day's low. So if these imbalances are buy, you do have some protection there because you have that 137 to get out. If it's a buy, this thing shoots up to 138. So maybe it is worth it a little bit. I might just talk myself into that. What is that bottom? 136.75. Is it worth 25 cents right now? Yeah, maybe. All right, let's take a small bid for Meta. Just see if we can make something happen here at the end.
I just feel like the last move we made in the ES, and I'll end up being wrong because every single time I get out in front of these imbalances, it feels like it's too early. But like we're holding top end of the channel. It feels like if we were going to have a disaster day, it would have happened already. But XPeng eventually moves. I'm out in front of VWAP. I took Rivian out on that push to the downside. No more Tesla. Like Tesla broke VWAP as well to the downside. So, I don't think these are going to come back into play for me. You never really know if the imbalances come large enough in one direction. Like if we see a couple bills somewhere, that could get me to maybe trade the Qs. But I'm going to stay flat. It's been a good one. Definitely liking it, what we had this afternoon in terms of opportunities because it was relatively strong names. There was some weakness out there. Just double checking for you. A couple of things. Sava did bounce off VWAP, so it made sense to get out there. And I know a lot of people are still looking at the chaos that is Twitter. I mean, it goes all the way down to 41.50 and is now trying to make a bit of a bounce. Round trip, $2 move. That's like the $2 move from bottom to top, initial top, and then $2 from the actual high that it got to where we just came back in at about 340. So this is the kind of whipsaw that I think we're going to be dealing with this week for Twitter. So I think there's going to be some trades out there, but the headline risk is tremendous. We're lucky. We do have Brendan. Keep your ear to the ground keep your ear to the ground. I just think if you trade this thing, you better have a stop out at all times because if real news gets dropped officially, it gets ugly.
Oh, shit. Okay, we're long Meta. The imbalances just came out right now, so we're going to watch to see what does happen now. We did take that Meta long right there at 137. We thought this was well worth it. We're not going to give this too much room here as these all came sell. Sell Uber, sell Apple. There goes Apple to the downside as well. Nice little move downside here on Apple. Sell AMD. Yeah, I didn't even notice the biggest one there. Whoa, there was some size right there on Amazon. I just saw some size somewhere there. Yeah, 1,500 size there, so 150,000 shares at 30 there for Amazon into the sell number. So that's what that is right here. Amazon's a sell. I'm going to assume Meta's a sell. I waited for Meta to come in, so we only have a little bit lower than this, and we're going to get out of Meta. We have a 137. We can get out for flat right now. It's a very, very small amount of shares. I thought we could try to take $1 up to 138 if that came a bid, but it didn't. It came a sell. So right now, a few ticks lower. There it is. A few ticks lower through 80, and we're going to be out of Meta. Again, this is a swing and a miss, but it's like strike one, basically. We're nowhere near out of anything here. So, this is like a foul tip, I should say. So we'll wait to see. Hey, if it goes to the upside, we'll give ourselves about a double on it. But I guess 137.50 is probably the best we could hope for right now. We almost got hit out of that trade, so that was pretty close. Again, we're just taking this against a possible buy imbalance, but Brendan just came with it. So it's a sell, and it's 870 to sell. So $870 million worth. If you add all this up against all the bids, it's a rough number, 870 to sell from Tony Knack and Financial Juice.
Yes, sir. Tony was a great guest. We did miss him for the actual Fed, but
no, they had him.
No, I know, but no, we
missed him.
We missed him.
I screwed that up, and then Prado was like, he was on our show. And
I
was
know.
like,
It's just
right,
we had him last time, and he's a great guest for that higher level, which we love to have. And one other name that was on there in the imbalances, 900,000 to sell, was Neo, and that actually did push down. I'm only showing this because I got out of both Rivian short and Xpeng short, which I said, get out in front of 350 is a rule when we have what I thought was a market that was trying to bounce, and then you're going to push to the downside. So big Neo sell and bounce, that pushed it down. I didn't see Xpeng on there anyways. I'm actually going to get it right here. See, that's in New York. I hit enter twice. It broke VWAP, so it did fall a little bit further. Rivian pushed down as well. Tesla, by the way, got down to 276 and did this little ditty of a wick bottom. So again, it's like every time Tesla has a big sell on volume, like in the last half an hour or so, it's had these nice little snap up buys. But you have to, essentially to catch that, you have to be watching the stock, kind of see it drop down in volume, and the second the spread tightens up, just try to quickly punch long and scalp a dollar. But I don't know that I was looking for that. I was looking for it at VWAP, but I wasn't looking for that at 350. Not the time of day I'd put that on. But somebody is buying these dips in Tesla, at least aggressively, or at least making up the bid when the bid evaporates on Tesla. So some strength in Tesla at the end of the day, despite the fact that we just had all the other EVs roll over a little bit.
Here we go, guys. Smoking. I always love it when you end the day with a smoking trade. Shout out to Gregory in the background there. Whoopsies. As well, those of you will probably know where that's from, of course. Canadian legend Jim Carrey with The Mask. Again, another great show. Movie, I should say, The Mask.
Is he the funniest Canadian comedian of all time?
No.
I'm just curious.
Well, I mean, Steve Martin is there. There's a lot of great SNL people that continue to come through right now. We'll talk about greatest Canadian comedians of all time in a minute. Nice little move to the upside there. Look at Meta. Holy shit. Holy man. This is a good move up there for Meta. Again, we're in the money 70 cents. This is exactly the trade that we were hoping for, right? So I said we hit a foul ball. Nah, we looked at that again. We have strike one, but then the next one came right down the plate, and there it was, off the wall, a double right now off the wall. Just bringing in some RBIs right now. We'll end the game. We're going to win today, so we mercied the other team. The only thing that could stop me from making money is the market closing, and that's about to happen in 5 minutes. So, yep, we're in the bottom of the ninth right now. We got the closer on, but the problem is we're up by 15, Brendan.
Wall Street Journal may be putting an end to this, saying both Musk and Agrawal's deposition schedule changes not due to settlement talks. So there you go.
Oh, finally get it. Yeah, there we go. That's all you need. That's all I needed to see. I got to ask you a question, JD, because you said watch and get the kids to watch at 6 p.m. Know you like sci-fi. Can you just let me know what you're referring to? Because you said sci-fi and watch, so my answer is generally going to be a yes, but I'm not sure what show you're referring to. So just let me know. You can message me or DM me, whatnot. But I love that everyone knows in the chat I'm a nerd and I like science fiction. So if you got any good book recommendations or shows that are nerdy, I'm all for that kind of crap. But yeah, I'm just glad to see that we finally get some moves there on Twitter, or at least some clarification that there's no actual imminent settlement. And see, the second that happens, you're headed right back to where we were when it started, was at $41. That's the risk of that trade.
So, I mean, look at what we just did there on Meta. So, first of all, I'm going to have to give back my Canadian card because I didn't realize, someone said Norm Macdonald?
Yeah, I knew Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, but I didn't realize he was Canadian for some reason. Like, when I saw that in there, I was like, what? And
I love Norm Macdonald. He's not better
Yeah, I
than
mean,
Jim
John
Carrey.
Candy, Uncle Buck. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things. So one name that came to my mind,
Fahad.
Fahad said Drake, but that is kind of funny, actually. So I got to give credit to that, to Fahad as well. But a lot of people don't understand, and it's really stupid comedy. But I used to like Tom Green. Like, I mean, that guy.
He's hilarious.
He's funny, but he's pretty ridiculous. But I do like Tom Green as well. So there's a Steve Martin. I've already talked about that. Okay, so let's just go. There's always going to be lots of them.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is a great movie, Steve Martin. And
Yes, exactly. I mean, keeps going on. Oh yeah, Seth Rogen.
Canadian comedy's no joke, man.
No, it's the best, man. We still have Jim Carrey. I mean, we're not even going to that level yet. I mean, come on. We said John Candy for Uncle Buck. Yeah. I think that I mean, those of you that watch America's Got Talent, I mean, Howie Mandel's Canadian. I don't think he's like in there, but again, another Canadian that seems to be on TV like every single time I turn on the station, Mr. Howie Mandel. Richard Pryor, that would be, I mean, I'd love to claim him as Canadian.
I mean,
but
look, we're talking about Canadian comedians.
I mean, yeah, we're not.
If you're talking about the GOAT,
We're not.
That's the GOAT as far
Well,
as
that's why I said love to claim him as a Canadian, but no. So, all right, let's go. Not Russell Peters. Russell Peters is funny for this time, for sure. I like the man.
Yeah, look,
But let's not put him in those.
No.
Let's not.
It's not an insult to not include
No.
someone on like a top 10 or all-time
I don't
best
think he'd
list,
include
right?
himself on there. I mean, Fahad, if you ever heard Fahad behind a mic, I mean,
Is there anything Fahad can't do? Seriously?
No, that's why I brought that
Pretty
up. I
much
mean,
not.
every single thing that we talk about. I mean, look, we put Fahad on our TikTok, boom, 10,000 views. Fahad, the funniest thing Fahad ever told me, it was this. He's only ever applied for one job, this one, and he got it, right, Fahad? That's right. So what, this is what I'm talking. I forever had faith in this man. I had faith in him bowling when he never bowled before. Sure, he lost.
Yeah, but he lost.
He lost.
See, I don't know if I believe that. I mean, look, whatever. I just feel like everything that comes out of Fahad, it's like, okay, well, is that one true? Is that one not true? But we're hitting that gym at some point for you to do 100 foul shots. We just come up with an actual number that's not 92%, and then we'll come up with an actual challenge because this intrigues me. And
I'm south of 70 on that number. I mean, if I'm going to put the over
he said
under,
92.
I know what he said.
It's got to be a good number. I'm not going to let him off the hook. He said 92 and a half.
Yeah,
So
you got to put the half in there for betting purposes.
For betting purposes.
Yeah.
Just worth noting, the market's starting to roll over. Uber down 3.5% was a sell imbalance and is breaking lows of the day. This name is getting beaten up, and guess what? It's breaking big levels on the daily. So if we do get one of those bad weeks, and this is the start of it, Uber needs to be on the radar for some shorts. Tony's back, and this morning.
Right, people don't know about Tony.
So I didn't notice it until we both turned as he was ringing the bell and we saw him. But Tony got a fresh haircut.
I try to go say what's up to Tony every day. He knows that. And today I just didn't get a chance. We had our meeting, came back here, blah, blah, blah. Talked to the wife. I didn't get a chance to say hi to Tony. So we're all going to see him very, very soon again coming up. And
fresh.
You know what, though? He came at kind of an okay time, but the market's not having a great time right now as it's starting to go back down to its day low one more time here. Never a good sign when the market closes on the low. We talk about that all the time. So there it goes. Yuck, and yuck. More yuck to the downside as the market goes. But the good thing is we only have and this is look at Meta. This is why we traded. I mean, this was a big move to the upside there. We just got some out at 79 and then out when it broke 137 again. So in and out there on Meta. Look at that. That's now touching new 52-week lows and an all-time closing low for Meta today. With only 15 seconds left, we're going to hit that and then we're going to watch the market continue to go down. Watch out on the downside there with only 7 seconds to go. This is getting nasty. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Look, I'm going to say something. Like, if you wanted to get with Tony, the time might have passed. Because now when this man's going out looking like that, line up, ladies. That is a haircut that many will not be able to refuse. So
he came fresh in his game.
I tried to show you Tony like 6-8 months ago. But now the man's looking like this. It's
too late now.
I mean, it's too late. It's game over.
And he's a hustler too. So
you don't know. He already was on our show. He said, he's discovered. I mean, I don't know if he's long or short the market. Oh yeah, what day is tomorrow? Okay, tomorrow's Tuesday. I failed last week because I forget we were doing something and we did not have Tony on. But tomorrow, as long as Tony agrees, have not discussed this with him.
Yeah, he says yes.
We are going to have Tuesdays with Tony. How does that sound, Brendo?
I need the story behind that haircut because that's a one-off for sure. Let's go. Here's a look at the overall market. S&P 500 actually did get. I was waiting for the final print there. I feel like this is actually not where it is. It's about 104, 103, 104. So this is a little bit before the actual close, but a heads up. 1.15 there for the S&P, 1.3 for the Dow, 0.4 for the NASDAQ, 2.63 for crude. That is correct, right at day lows. 1% for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, guys. But yeah, the S&P was more like 104-ish.
Market was down, but it feels like you threw some shade at Tony's haircut, Brendan, and I'm not going to stand for that. We don't mess around with Tony Tone around here, man. I think he looks fresh and clean, but the market. Obviously, the market didn't end up all that well today, but lots of trading opportunities. So at least we're able to get that in there. The shorts were in play. You have to be able to follow the market wherever it does go. The shots are all over the place. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I was doing that, Fahad. Because some guy behind us is like, oh, he's stuck in a trade or something. So I was like, I don't know. I was like just wondering what's going on there. Yeah, no. I don't know. I don't know if he was throwing shade at the fade or what, but I don't even know if it is a fade. Like I said, I haven't seen it there, but it's probably well overdue. So what's up to Tony on that haircut? We're going to see him tomorrow there. Turnaround Tuesdays with Turnaround Tony.
We'll see about the turnaround.
We'll see if that can come through. But hey, Bitcoin was up at least 1% there, Brendo. The Canadian dollar, I don't know if you have that up there, but that's been tanking. Obviously, we also have the British pound sterling getting killed as well today as the Dixie, the US dollar, just continues to march to the high side until that starts to settle down, and the 10-year, the 2-year. These are all just absolutely racing. So I'm personally a little bit nervous, obviously, about some of these big cap tech names that continue to get hit. Also, big cap oil hit today as well, as oil down 3%. I mean, where do these names stop? I don't know. But it's 4:02. Tesla's the trade of the day. A big thank you to Mark, to Fahad, to Lucas there today. Shout out to Maggie, who's almost on her way out. We've talked about that, but Justin's going to be taking over for that. So shout out to Maggie with all the hard work as we wind up that as well. Katrine, Liz, everybody doing the dance. I tried to turn off the microphone. I turned off my own. So I'll turn off in my ear right now, and we won't say that. And shout out to everybody. Thank you to Tony for that as well. But hey, it's going to be a good one here today. Get ready for Monday Night Football. You know, it's Dallas versus the Giants. So we'll see. I'm going to think the Giants are going to win tonight. Watch out for a big game from Saquon. We'll see what happens there tonight.
No, we want Saquon to bust.
Why?
Because you know who has them, and he needs to win.
Oh, Jay?
Yeah.
Whatever. Jay gave me Jared Goff. Thank God for that. But okay, we're going to move on football talk. But hey, we're super excited. Like I said, watch that 10-year. We have earnings coming later on this week, starting with Micron, then Bed Bath & Beyond on Friday. Should be a really exciting one. The one thing we didn't ask you to do all show, and I'm pretty sure we didn't, if not once or twice, hit the like button. Do it now before we leave. Hit that like button. Tell YouTube that you like it. You found the best channel out there. But the one thing you can do for sure is join us tomorrow when we come back live at 8:30 with the best show in Trader TV Live history. See you then. Ciao.